Coming to you from the International Broadcast Tower at the top of the floating castle, this is the Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament, 2019 Spring Tournament, here on the Speed Gaming family of networks. We have a race tonight between thehangrycanuck and Synth, queued up and ready to go for you here. Their parties are selected, their names are entered, and we're about to get going here. Hi everyone, I'm Cyclone, joined by ShadowWalker227. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Feels good to be back on Speed Gaming, and we are in week 2 right now of the Spring Tournament. These are 5 weeks of Swiss, so both of these runners were, I believe, 0-1. So whoever advances, whoever wins this is going to be 1-1, and the other runner will be 0-2 going into next week.
And always interesting to see randomizer type events as well, because it's always fun to see what kind of weird combinations you can get here. Now, we were talking before the race, you mentioned they're going to have a free bridge, they're going to have a free canal, so they're not going to have trouble wandering around the world from the outset, whereas they still have to find the canoe and the ship in order to actually progress beyond the main continent.
Yep, and of course we'll always be on the lookout for that floater. The sooner we can get into the air, the sooner we can really start exploring the rest of the world. And hopefully we'll see... I don't know, are you hoping to see a quick seed, or are you hoping to see a long seed? What are you hoping for tonight?
Oh, I love seeing floaters as late as possible. That's just me, though.
Well, I'm sure our viewers are also hoping for a bit of a trollier seed, so we'll see what this has in store. We've seen lots of ups and downs. We've seen some really fast seeds. We've seen some long slog fests, so who knows what we're going to get today.
Well, I definitely called my share of really long seeds. I seem to get a lot of the long ones for some reason, so never know. We could have a long one in store here. Stay tuned to find out. Of course, we won't know what we have until our race does get underway here. It looks like the stream has been readied up. It looks like the racers are off. And we're already having a party shuffle for Synth because he does not want that black mage in the front.
Yep, definitely want to keep your casters in the back. They're the ones that are going to do a lot of damage. And to start off, we've got some instant kill. We've got Quake and we've got Zap. So enemy party sweepers. So that's nice, but we don't have any direct damage. And
we have some nice Cure 3.
Yeah, that Cure 3 is going to be good. Unfortunately, that Heal 3 is locked to White Mage, so a little bit of an advantage for Lord of the Synth here.
Yeah, this is a case where if you have to decide if that's something you really want, thehangrycanuck would need to go to a quick party selection again now and get that White Mage in the party. Not doing that, so it looks like he's going to go with what he has.
Yeah, we've seen a bit of success from some two-fighter strategies. In this flag set, we have 2 loose items, so our runners are going to be opening up a whole lot of boxes. So with that, we're going to find a lot of equipment for those fighters, and then some knight equipment once they're promoted. So definitely a little bit of a preference to the two-fighter strategy for equipment-wise.
Now we got a quick look at some of the things in the item shop there. The housing market is awful today, rather leet, but cabins are pretty affordable.
Yeah, that early camping gear is really going to be helpful, especially because Town Shuffle is on. So we are not necessarily going to be finding towns with good items available in the shops. For instance, that Provoca could be replaced with Lefane today, which does not have an item shop. So camping gear is going to be at a premium.
Yeah, and things like that. You just mentioned Provoca, for example. You have the pirates in Provoca as well. You have I'm trying to remember the name of the town where the man that does the translation is. You have that. Like, there are certain characters in those towns that you need to get for certain progressions. So knowing where those towns are is going to be key to help figure out exactly what route planning you have to do here today.
Yep, so looks like Lord of the Synth has taken a little bit of a lead here getting into Garland, and quickly quakes the knight's best man down, the king's best man down. And he's going to give us our first look at the key items from the Corneria Royal.
Ooh, Rod. That's good for Earth Cave. And the slab.
Yeah, that Rod's a really interesting pickup. Normally our runners don't like to go into Earth Cave very early, but with having found the Rod early, that means that all of Earth Cave is open as soon as we have the ship. So I'll be curious to see if either of these runners decides to make a gamble for an early Earth Cave dive.
That's a gamble that I would be interested to see as well. We'll find out, obviously, later once the runners have access to it, whether they prioritize that in some way. There's obviously a lot of other places they can still go in the meantime. They want to find out what's in Provoca since they can get across the bridge. They may want to go and wander over to Dwarf Cave for all we know and see what those 2 items are today. We'll see what they decide to do here.
Yeah, and we do actually have extended open progression on as well. If that's a flag you're not familiar with, it opens up a land passage leading between the Dwarven Cave and the Northwest Castle Elfland area. So our runners can actually get to a fair amount of territory by...
Now we're having our first credits glance here at the credits. Let's see if Synth heads up to Matoya now or goes later. Nope, going now.
Yeah, I'm definitely on board with checking these chests pretty early. You never know what you could find. We could find a nice castable item. Ooh. Speaking of finding, that's a frost from...
The frost, my goodness.
Giving us the cold shoulder today.
And thehangrycanuck getting up there with no difficulty. And lots of money and a black shirt.
Speaking of castable items, that black shirt is free cast of Ice 2 every round, so we now actually have a direct damage AoE option available to us, so that's going to be very...
Synth running into the imps again and doesn't want to take a chance on the frost coming out again, so pulls out his Quake.
Yeah, that Quake is going to be really nice for our runners to get some early experience points under their belt. Quake has pretty good accuracy, and it's an AoE instant kill, so it's going to do a large amount of sweeping power for this early.
Looks like thehangrycanuck did a reset after getting the Mad Pony encounter and not going his way. So he started that trip again. Synth has taken out some asps in the meanwhile.
Got some runners in chat talking about how much FFR action we have going on tonight. There is a whole lot of action.
That's another wipe for Synth. He's back at Corneria without the money or the black shirt.
Oh, and okay, that was just a misclick from Hangry. It looked like he was remaking his party. Yes, it's a little bit unfortunate, but this is kind of why you have to pick up some of that camping gear. It really does make a big difference to be able to save your progress along the way. Level 5 Life 2 in Melmond, which is at the Provoca end.
And we have regular Ice and Ice 2 both at level 5 today.
Yeah, all of the ice spells. And this is another fun flag. We've got Zozo Melmond. So there are actually random encounters that you can get into in the Melmond town on the sand tiles. And a couple of undead giving Canuck a little bit of...
Well, we have an Ogre. That was a very quick kill on the Ogre with Quake.
Canuck going ahead and handing in that slab, since we do already have that under our belt. He's going to be able to save his progress and head back.
That's a great location for Melmond 2, speaking of that, because that's the item. That's the town I was trying to remember the name of earlier. With the guy in it that does the translation services. We saw that slab right away earlier, so I thought, I wonder where that is that's going to block progression for a while with the slab, but it turns out it was right there in Provoca, so we already have access to the foreign language speakers once we get the airship.
Yep, good old Dr. Un wants to solve the riddle of the Lethanish people. And is happy to oblige once we hand over that slab. Canuck looks like he's going to do a little bit of a grind here in the Zozo Melmond territory. Going to look for a couple of fights and try and get some levels under it.
There's a nice attack of 8 characters right there.
Yeah, Zap and Quake are going to do a pretty good job of cleaning up these low-level undead packs, so this is going to be some nice experience points.
And most of them were exiled to the 4th dimension, but one Spectre remains.
Those iron rods were swinging? When you're a fighter, you got to use whatever resources you have available, so
yeah.
Like iron rods were handed.
And that Spectre did not want to go down. That thing was hardy. So quick save after that encounter, and now let's do it again. Nope, he's leaving.
Synth is making his way over to Melmond now. And he's going to be able to translate his slab.
thehangrycanuck may be on his way over the Dwarf Cave now, since he's heading in this direction. Don't see anything else he could be doing.
Yeah, short of going for something like a Peninsula Power Grind, which we don't have a lot of camping gear, so I don't think that's going to be what our runners do. Kind of have to head. It's important to note that Fast at level 5 is in the 3rd slot, which means that it is going to be blocked until we promote our characters. So we will have to get the tail before we can get the Fast buff.
Yeah, they'll probably make a note of that and come back for it later if they do want that. Because obviously being useless now, it is something they can use later once they do class promote. And that is something I'm sure the runners will want.
Yeah, Fast is probably the strongest buff in the game. Doubling the amount of attacks a character gets in battle is a lot of extra damage.
So we just found lots of gold in Dwarf Cave. Hooray!
Everybody loves the Hooray Dwarf. He's so excited every time he visits.
He's so excited. If I wish I could be that excited all the time.
Alright, Synth following suit has a little bit lower levels than Canuck, since Canuck was able to squeeze in a little bit of a grind, but Synth is making some good time, keeping him.
So nice to see the forest overgrowing the lake there. thehangrycanuck is now on his way down to the... oh, that was a nice stone attack there from the ogres. That is dangerous.
Yeah, that stone poison is going to present a little bit of a early road bump with its ability to wipe the whole party. So hopefully we're going to be able to find some ribbons or something to be able to take care of.
And what I was about to comment on was that he's heading down the Elfland area. We're going to get a look at... oh, that is definitely not Elfland.
That is Gaia, and we do not have a bottle. So this is really not what our runners want to find right now. It means that we're locked into having to go to Marsh Cave and have very few resources to be able to do.
We're finding tents, though. They're not as affordable as the cabins, so I think cabin will be our camping gear of choice.
Yeah, at least until we can afford some of those houses, that's for sure. But Canuck gonna stock up on some healing items and start prepping for this marsh dive, which he knows he has to do.
And we're getting a look at the lovely items here. Silver armor for 8,000 bucks.
That would be some really nice armor for our fighters or our red mage, but gonna be a little bit more frugal and stock up on iron armor and chains. So that's gonna provide a lot of defense in the early.
For Marsh Cave, that will be sufficient for what they're going to be doing there. Of course, later on, they might have to come back for something like that, but they might get something nicer along the way.
Yeah, it's not too big a deal. With the number of chests that we're going to be checking, we're pretty likely to find something better, like flame armor or ice armor or something like that.
And there are a lot of chests in Marsh Cave. The only question is... will they check all of them? Will they try to route them all in? Or will they even survive the trip to the basement in the first place?
It really depends on what kind of skills and spells that we have in Marsh Cave, and that's where Marsh Cave really gets a lot of its danger from. There are a whole lot of different enemies that you can find in the Marsh Cave, and if any of those roll some nasty skills or spells, this could be a rough dive.
Looks like Synth might have picked up a copper bracelet for someone there.
Yeah, copper bracelets all around.
Oh, for everyone, wow.
I'm a little surprised he didn't pick up chain armor for his fighter and red mage. That would be more absorber for them, as they're in the front row. That would help shave off a lot of damage that would be incoming from physical.
So here's our first Marsh Cave dive. We found the shadows. And no one can run. That's a pleasant sign right there, I tell you. Well, one finally got away.
Alright, so Canuck is going to take the time to check the 4 chests on the top. This makes a lot of sense. It's a pretty quick check, and if you don't find anything, you can just reset.
The shadows did an ambush with poison touch. That is not something you really want to see.
Yeah, looks like he's not going to worry about healing the black mage. He's just going to lose him to the...
And XXXX indeed got XXXX'd.
This is interesting that Canuck has decided to leave his Black Mage up front rather than trying to put him in the back and protect him a little bit more. Perhaps we could be looking at a three-man strategy focused around these fighters in red.
Well, he knows he has 2 Marsh Caves, so he might be trying to level these characters up, knowing the Black Mage will take deaths a lot more easily. That could be part of the reason for that strategy. He might want to level those 3 up, get them to do most of the fighting so the Black Mage can pick up some experience later on.
Alright, so we're going to get our first look at these top chests here in Marsh.
Lovely
Fall
cap.
so far.
Oh, I have a bunch of those cabins already.
LordoftheSynth has made his way over to join Canuck in this wonderful Marsh Cave dive that we have to do.
And looks like some of Canuck's characters cannot see anymore.
Yeah, bumbling around in the dark doesn't help with the running away. Gold Bracelet's really nice, though. That's going to be a lot of extra defense for a mage.
Yeah, that's an improvement over the copper ones we saw earlier. So Canuck will have 1 less bracelet he needs to buy at least.
Looks like Canuck is happy enough with what he's found to actually walk it out and save it.
Now I get back outside and get a save in.
So LordoftheSynth with a quick power cycle, so he's going to actually know what is coming in the order of the encounter table. So that could be useful if he finds an encounter that he needs to be able to manipulate.
And the black shirt does its job for Hangry Canuck. He's continuing onwards towards the exit to save.
Yeah, the black shirt casting Ice 2, not the greatest thing to use against these undead, but he's putting it to great use, and it's really doing work and helping him clear this.
So he's gone back in, and he is doing the 3-man strategy. The Black Mage is still out cold.
That giving Canuck a little bit of trouble.
Synth, meanwhile, loses his fighter and his red mage. Both have fallen to these gargoyles, which Canuck has not seen yet.
Yeah, gargoyles with stun touch, that's a lot of damage that they can do. Looks like they were swinging 4 hits for about 75 damage. That's not very nice.
Yeah, that's not fun at all. So Canuck's on his way to the basement. Synth is trying to head back up to the top again.
Yeah, Canuck found a great spot in the encounter table to be able to run really quickly down. And there's those stun touch gargoyles.
He will now learn what stun touch feels like. He also picked up an opal shield in the first chest down here.
Yeah, the big advantage for Canuck here is he has iron armor, so his fighters are not taking much damage from the gargoyle. Ooh, and a light axe is a great pickup with all these undead around. Light axe casts Harm 2 in battle. Harm 2 is a spell that does damage only to undead, though, so definitely a nice pickup. And if he decides to equip that, that's going to do a lot more damage than that iron staff he's swinging around.
For sure, and more gargoyles for Canuck. Synth is dealing with more undead characters of his own. And most of his party is now seeing nothing. And near death.
So Synth is going to find his silver gauntlet and his gold bracelet, and that's going to be a lot of extra defense for his characters. He's going to be pretty happy about that. Although neither Hangry Canuck nor LordoftheSynth equipped that silver gauntlet. I'm a little bit surprised. That would be extra defense for those characters.
Yeah, that is surprising. It looks like Synth is going to try to walk this out too.
Yeah, in Synth's position, he only has those copper bracelets, so that gold bracelet's a much bigger pickup for him. Definitely agree with his play here. Angry Canuck is just about to the wizard trap tile. We're going to see if the wizards are going to play nice today and see if we can check this incentive chest.
Let's see if he gets the first shot. 72 damage. Ouch. Blaze.
Blaze.
Oh, ow, that is a wipe.
All right, so these wizards are definitely not playing nice. They're playing with fire, in fact.
Yeah, that is some very strong fire. Not just fire, but really strong fire.
Yeah, Blaze is the second strongest fire elemental attack in the game, second only to Inferno, which is a skill that is normally on Chaos.
So back in the basement, I have a feeling he may try to do that again. But correct me if I'm wrong. The wizards, I believe, they're more likely to ambush than give you a fair fight. Am I right?
I don't remember if we were playing with the vanilla ambush rates or if they are shuffled. But yes, typically in vanilla they are very high ambush.
It looks like ambush is randomized, so I guess we'll see whether Canuck chooses to try to do that fight again and try to get the upper hand on them quickly.
Thanks, Ali Jabrap. Ali Jabrap doing our tracking for us tonight, along with El Markin. So thank you, both of you.
Hold is put to use against Canuck here.
Ooh, that flame shield's a really nice pickup for Canuck there. It's going to be extra defense against fire elemental. I can't remember if the he gets away.
The wizards were runnable, and we got a canoe out of it.
All right, so that's some nice progression for us.
He's like, I'm happy with that. I'm out of here.
Yeah, definitely. He's found all he needs here. He picked up the important items, just going to try and run his way back up to the top. So as long as he can get away from these fights on the way. Synth coming down now, and he's going to try and make his way through the wizard trap.
And he's going to collect the other items here first, including the empty one.
Yeah, that chest that he checked that's empty is actually linked with the room in the top right of this floor. So if you check either of those chests, it will give you the item that is contained in them. So you can actually skip that top left room if you check this room with the two chests.
Oh, very interesting. And Synth is about to get the bad news, I think.
He's only got 2 wizards that he's encountered. Unfortunately, doesn't get a run, but they're playing nice on round 1.
There's the blaze.
But he gets away, importantly.
Oh! That's basically the equivalent of losing your arms and legs and trying to hobble out somehow with only the fighter and almost no hit points left, and he's down. So,
bit of a rough break for Synth. Canucks higher levels were able to get him through a little bit faster, but Synth is going to try again. He'll get his canoe eventually, and then he'll be on his way. Meanwhile, Canuck is going to give us our first look across the river, and we'll find what is at Crescent Lake shortly.
Let's involve chat here, those of you watching live. What town do you want to see at Crescent Lake today?
Right off the bat, Elmergan says Lethane. Onrak, Melmond.
Well,
we
already
have
have.
Melmond.
We have Melmond. Melmond's done. That's a Provoca.
Yeah, for those of you joining recently, we have Melmond at Provoca, and we have Gaia at Elfland. So we have a lot of high-level towns so
they're going to probably want some more magic. I wonder if the game will be nice and give them Provoca to give them some level 2 access here.
Yeah, Provoca or Elfland are really what our runners are wanting to see, especially Provoca having a key item as well.
Exactly.
If I was a runner, I'm sure I would want to be seeing Provoca get level 2 spells and see the floater from Bicky. But that's the dream.
Now, if we do find a town that does not have anything as a key item in it, then chances are there's going to be a chest somewhere that has an item that we may need to progress beyond Crescent Lake, because we can't get off without the ship or the airship. They could be loose in chests in the ice cave for all we know.
Right. And in fact, we only have 2 locations they could be at this point. There is the ice cave, which is incentivized, so there is guaranteed to be 1 item that is in the incentive pool. That doesn't mean it's actually progression. But then also the other dungeon is the Volcano. So a little bit of a dangerous option for our runners, but we'll see what we get.
Okay, after this giant intermission, we will find out what town is at Crescent Lake today. Giant is not too bad so far. A little bit of damage there, but manageable. And the town is Vanilla.
Yeah, Crescent decided to stay where it was, so I'm gonna get to talk to the old men, and somebody forgot to give them their medication. They're all wandering around.
Yeah. They're a little confused today.
They decided the yoga circle wasn't enough exercise and wanted to start walking around.
And you get our lovely tips like, the Fire Fiend will burn everything up! And he finally gets his TNT from the gift giver, who is now transitioned to the top of the group today.
So the TNT here is interesting. It makes you have to decide, do you want to spend the time to walk all the way back across to turn that into the Dwarf Cave, or do you want to see potentially if you can get through either ice or volcano? And I think probably a safer play would be go turn in the TNT and take some fights along the way. Oh, we see gold bracelets and pro rings available for the Crescent Lake shop, so that's pretty nice. And there's the bottle!
You are absolutely right that the safer play is to go get the turn in. There's no guarantee that the progression, that the 2 loose items will be in Ice Cave or the Volcano. We know there's the one that is in the Ice Cave with the eye fights. But again, there's no guarantee that's progression either. So as you said, this is a safer option. But it'll be interesting to see which gamble the runners decide to take. If we do see one runner go for the Ice Cave Eye and then the other go back to Dwarf Cave, it'll be interesting to see which one gets the edge off that gamble.
Well, I think seeing that bottle of the vendor item actually changes my mind. What I would do in this situation now is dive the 2nd floor of Volcano. There's a whole bunch of chests there. Open up those chests, try and find some money, find some equipment that you can sell. Pick up all those, sell the things that you don't need for cash, get the money to buy that bottle, and then turn the bottle and the TNT in one trip rather than double back.
I do like that strategy, actually. That's a really good strategy.
But Canuck decides the TNT is enough. He's going to go turn that in, and we're going to find out if this is what Canuck needs to progress, or if this is going to be a goose.
I think he's hoping that it's just the airship, like the floater that gets off it. He can come back at the airship and travel a lot quicker and not have to worry about spending too much time then. So he might be thinking this is the quickest way to get to what he really wants.
Yep, this could pay off well. This could not pay off well. We could see something like a ribbon or a ruby that's not going to be our progression item.
Or a cube.
Or a cube, which is important, but not going to be useful right away.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so Lord of the Synth has made his way back through, and he's picked up that canoe out of the wizard trap tiles, so if he can just get out of this ice cave, or out of this earth cave, rather, he will be on his way to progression.
I believe you mean the marsh.
Yeah, words are hard. Well, that is a fun fact. Trenton GL pointing out that as of today, Final Fantasy Randomizer has passed 200 races on SRL. That's awesome.
Actually, it looks like 2,000 races, and that is a great accomplishment. 2,000 races in Final Fantasy Randomizer. Always great to see all the different randomizers going on, because it does make games, hooray! It does make games obviously more challenging, more fun to do things in a different way with them. So it's neat to see things like this catch on and for them to become popular by themselves. There's the Adamant, by the way.
So we have some lazy dwarves. Narek was holding out on the blacksmith, didn't want to hand him it over.
That is a
and
crowd.
we're fetch busting more.
Astos.
Yep, so we're getting our exercise in. We're walking all over the place. And we're going to find out what Astos has for us.
Well, Astos playing nice today. Let's see. The key, Mystic Key, so we can at least go with the castle now.
That Mystic Key is interesting. It's not directly progression, but it opens up a lot of chests. And those chests could include a loose item that could be progression.
I believe that includes the chests up in Dwarf Cave, too. I think that room was locked by the Mystic Key.
Correct. There's 12 chests up in Dwarf Cave, 6 in Corneria Castle, 3 in Northwest Castle, 4 in Elfland Castle, 3 chests in the Temple of Fiends, and 3 chests in the Marsh Cave, as well as 1 chest in Sea Shrine that are all locked by the Mystic Key. And to this day, we will never know what the intention was behind locking that 1 chest, other than Nasir magic.
My guess is that probably the same reason behind locking the room in Temple Fiends Revisited. There's one room there that's locked by the Mystic Key as well. So anyone who tries to, sugarcoat their way around the game has to still go back at the key to finish the game.
Yeah, it's amazing how insightful Nasir was in blocking sequence breaks. It's quite incredible. You can't normally get to the to Sarda, for instance, without having the ruby, which you get in the chest behind the vampire. But even if you somehow were to get to Sarda in the vanilla game, you would have to have killed the vampire in order to get the key item from him. So it's pretty incredible all of the foresight that Nasir had and was able to prevent those issues.
Hangrycanuck not happy with the items he found in the Dwarf Cave, so does a hard reset, returns to Astos' lair, and heads back down to the other castle in Elfland. Synth is fighting wizards once again.
Yep, so Canuck has decided he's going to skip the 3 chests in Marsh Cave. We're hoping that nothing's there. I don't blame him for not wanting to go back.
Synth has forgotten that the treasure box was empty.
Ooh, Canuck finds our first ribbon in Elfland Castle.
Ribbons are very useful.
Incredibly good item. Not much by way of absorb, but they give you resistance against every element in the game, so fantastic pick.
Since seeming to have a few menuing problems there, but he did some healing and he's on his way out of the 3rd floor right now.
So, trying to get through. He's making his way up. Hopefully he's going to get out this time.
He's been here long enough, I'm sure he doesn't want to be here any longer.
I'm actually a little bit surprised that when Hangrycanuck decided to reset out of the Dwarf Cave, he knows that bottle is for sale in Crescent Lake and it's rather expensive. I'm surprised he didn't take some of that equipment and go hawk it at the pawn.
He probably figures that he'll be able to get that at the Ice Cave or the Volcano later, and he'll have an item to save out of Ice Cave anyway, so that might be what his thinking was behind that. Since he seems to be heading back down the river passage right now, that may be where he's going next, one of those two. Yeah, turned around on his way back Crescent Lake and was about to head up when he ran into those Caribs.
And Lord of the Synth is out. He has saved his progress.
Synth can now start making his way over to Crescent Lake, catch up a little bit.
Yeah, depending upon how Lord of the Synth decides to route this too, he could save quite a bit of time Well, Canuck definitely got a bunch of key items, and the Mystic Key is required for progression. Lord of the Synth could make up some time potentially over a lot of the walking around that Canuck.
Yeah, if he decides to just head up here to Ice Cave or Volcano, where Hangry Canuck is not going to Volcano, if he decides to head up here as well, they'll generally be in the same location. Synth can do those fetch quests later, possibly with a better transportation.
Alright, so now Hangry Canuck is going to go check the Volcano. This is probably a dive just at these first 2 floors. We don't really have the resources to be able to do a deep dive here, but this is a lot of chests that he has access to.
He was not happy with that first fight, so he returns to the front.
So Lord of the Synth doing a good shopping trip, going to get stocked all the way back up on his items before he heads across the river.
Oh, there's a nice batch of gold.
Yeah, that'll definitely help on the quest to buy that bottle. Again, we're looking for about 54,000 gold in order to be able to pick that up, so every bit of money is going to help.
Hangry Canuck is already stunned.
That black shirt continuing to show its worth as Canuck's diving into Ice Cave. He's been getting a lot of mileage out of it. Unfortunately, has to reset out of the muck.
This is what Synth would want to see right now if he was able to watch this while running, which obviously is not allowed. But if he was able to watch this is what he would want to see, because he needs the time to catch up right now with the trouble he had in Marsh Cave.
Lord of the Synth, your fighter can use that flame shield. Equip it.
Poison tombs.
Yeah, so the fact that he hasn't healed that poison leads me to believe maybe this is more of an information dive, but now he's going to heal. So Lord of the Synth gets his information that the bottle is here and it's very expensive.
And we have found fires, which is a trap tile.
Oh, and they have lit 3.
That's unconventional.
Yeah, a little bit. And just for a heal potion, so not
ideal for sure.
Lord of the Synth taking down some notes about what spells he sees here, things that he'll want to come back for later.
Now we found the red gargoyles. Are they going to be nasty compared to their brethren?
So far they're just punching, but remains to be seen. Synth picking up his TNT now.
Cremate.
Cremate's not pleasant, but it's not the worst. It's no blaze as far as damage is concerned.
Well, it's bad enough for Canuck to reset that. He didn't want to stay there any longer.
Yeah, it's a lot of healing items that you'd have to use to heal that back up, so can't say I blame.
This volcano is not going very swimmingly so far.
Well, of course not. It's hard to swim in lava.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it looks like Synth is going to follow the same path that Canuck did, so he's going to also spend some time. I'll be curious to see if he decides to save some of the items that he finds, say, in Dwarf Cave, and maybe is able to make up some time in purchasing that bottle, if that bottle leads to something, but this is going to cost him a little bit of time following in the footsteps of his opponent.
We are about to check out the armory, though. We're finding an iron knife, we're finding some money, we're finding a soft potion, katana, a heal potion, the standard Grey Worm trap tile, which he runs away from, power knife,
gauntlet.
Or gauntlet, sorry. Wooden shield, wooden helmet.
Yeah, Elmarkin pointing out in chat that katana usually sells for a good chunk of change, so that could really help our runners make up the progress to get that bottle. And I'm surprised Canuck hasn't tried to equip the light axe. That would be a lot more damage for his fight.
The fact that Canuck is spending time equipping these items tells me he's going to walk these out. There's the Aegis Shield. Ice Sword is a good find.
Yeah, it would be really hard not to walk out a Mage Staff, an Ice Sword, and a Katana. That's a lot of really good pickups. Now we have 2 casting items. That's going to help out quite a bit.
And Canuck is continuing with a 3-man strategy here. The Black Mage is still taking a 4th dimensional nap.
These Gargoyles just roughing up Canuck, trying to get through this fight, but they are not playing nice with this cremate. Lord of the Synth also getting the beatdown from the stone poison from the ogres.
Oh, Frost. Oh, he's almost dead. He is in a trance.
Oh, and they have trance to boot?
1 hit point!
Only need 1 to win.
Good thing he ate those extra Wheaties this morning.
Alright, so that lone red mage is going to have a perilous journey on his way out, but with any luck, maybe Canuck will be able to escape with his spoil.
Oh, wow. Ow! That is what you call a false sense of security, surviving with 1 hit point, only to be massacred by the evil Sphinx.
Yeah, those Sphinxes were hitting for quite a bit of damage. That's unfortunate if you're Canuck, but if you're Lord of the Synth, that's great news.
Yeah, that would make Synth happy right now, without question.
So Lord of the Synth getting his Mystic Key, and he's going to fight the Dark Prince Astos. So, if you're one of these runners and you're getting roughed up this bad in the early game, at what point do you decide to maybe press the brakes a little bit and stop and try and gain some levels to try and make this dive a little bit safer?
That's turning into a bit of a tough choice here. I'm actually thinking they might be trying to hold out for the eye fights at Ice Cave if they can get there, because I know that's a place that a lot of runners like to really grind. But the question is, can they get there?
That is, in fact, a big question that's up in the air right now. And while it would be nice to grind on, say, the eye fight, that feels a long ways away when we're taking a lot of wipes from some of these early game enemies. I feel like I would be pretty tempted to stop and fight some either giants or peds and try and get some XP outside of Crescent Lake.
Try and get at least a couple levels to make the fights later on a little bit more manageable, at least, and maybe more survivable, too.
Mark in the chat pointing out that Light Axe and Mage Staff definitely will give us a much easier time against the undead in Ice Cave, though. That's definitely a very good point.
We're already being given a call for images with glare.
Please no. Nobody likes to see glare.
I still remember the first seed I ever generated in this randomizer, and it was probably one of the worst ice caves we've ever seen.
To be fair, I feel like every time I see Ice Cave, it's the worst Ice Cave I've ever seen.
No, it's a good sign when you have Edgeworth thanking you 3 minutes into the race.
Definitely a good time had by all. Alright, so Canuck's still with a little bit of a lead as he's been pushing through a little bit more. But Synth is making up good time on him. He's not letting that lead widen at all.
And Synth checking out the financial amounts in the back of the castle, Elfland Castle.
Lord Lord of the Synth has a statue that he's lugging around of his red mage. And I think he is in search of some soft potions. I don't remember if the shop had any.
It can't be very easy lugging that thing around.
Yeah, those Light Warrior statues, man, they get pretty heavy.
But it's not slowing him down. He's still going at a good pace here.
And Canuck is almost out of the volcano with his spoils this time. He's able to take down one of these sphinxes, and down goes the other one.
Survival.
So very good news for.
And Canuck gets the save in. Now, will he head back over to the ice area right now, or is he going to head back to the town and try to get that bottle?
Looks like he's going for Ice Cave.
Yeah.
This is ambitious.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for probably the worst ice cave you will ever see. Again. As it tends to be every time.
Lord of the Synth making a long trip back over to the Corneria and Temple of Fiends area. Gonna check some of these Mystic Key chests that Canuck didn't take the time to go find. As well as probably stop off at the item shop and buy some soft potions.
Can you imagine if the floater was in one of those chests?
That would be really big news for Lord of the Synth. Especially if it turns out like Ship is in the ice cave. That could lead Canuck on a really big goose chase hunting down the floater.
Well, Synth has to survive the gargoyles first, which is going to be hard to do with bracelets.
Yeah, we know these gargoyles have stun touch, so we're hoping for some decent turn order here to be able to run away. It looks like they ambush quite a bit, too.
Yeah, it looks like a high ambush rate. He's decided to come back and check that one later. You want to see what's in the top one.
Well, unfortunately, the top one is blocked by gargoyles as well, so... the good news, though, is that there are at least 2 chests here in this one, if you can get past the gargoyles, rather than just 1.
That's right. You might have to just deal with being stunned. Unfortunately, the wrong character got stunned there, but at least he didn't have to use the black shirt, so that worked out. Didn't find anything up there, so back to the bottom one.
Yeah, an Opal Shield would be nice, but we can't equip that just yet. We are lowly unpromoted Light Warriors.
And can he get away?
He's trying. These gargoyles just not playing nice, though. Alex does manage to run away.
All for 715 gold. Okay, here we come to some of the fun parts of Ice Cave now.
Yeah, Canuck's going to have some interesting decisions to make here. He does not have warp, so he can't just jump down the middle hole and warp back and check all 3 chests. So he's going to have to decide if he wants to brave the trap tile to check the chest on the right, and if he wants to take all the steps to check the chest on the left.
He is going to take the one on the right. The mages will get to show off their skills, which appear to be very little damage and a lot of missed shots.
Lord of the Synth is headed over to Melmond. I think he's going to take the back route to Ice Cave. This is a really gutsy play. Very interesting.
This is interesting. If those wondering, coming in late, Melmond is at where Provoke is. That's why we say Melmond.
Elmarkin asking if Lord of the Synth checked Corneria's lock chest. I don't think he did.
No,
I didn't see him stop.
I didn't see him stop there either.
Does decide to pick up Ice 3 and Life 2 while he's here, though.
Looks like Hungry Canuck had to do a reset there. I think he's back at the top floor. And up in a very big undead area at the very start of the cave this time. Oh, we have glare.
Images do have glare. Yeah, this is not going to be a fun time.
Okay, so to whoever it was that said the images should have glare, burn the witch?
I think they actually had spotted it earlier. I think we did see some early images in Hangry Canuck's Zozo Melman.
Apparently, we had a blaze sighting somewhere as well here.
Oh, yeah, it was probably those wizards, because wizards inhabit Ice Cave. So, hello again. Yeah, Blaze Wizards is going to make this Ice Cave a very risky play. I think if I was in these runners' shoes, I would be prioritizing trying to see what that bottle turns into rather than trying to dive Ice Cave.
That might be a good idea, seeing what we're seeing right now. That seems like a suitable and more safe play. Sorcerers are not very strong today, which is normal, I think, but they haven't really shown any traits so far that are scary.
Yeah, so far, each of our runners do have one ribbon, but we have more than one character.
We just had another glare on Mune, and Mazda took a death. Will is now being targeted.
Yeah, this is not boding so well.
Now, this is not. If he can even get down to the base, like if he can even get to the basement at this point, which is kind of funny to say, he has a long trek to get back up to the eye tile.
Well, not to mention that first step in the basement has a big pack of undead, and there's likely to be images here. No, don't fight them. You got a first strike. Run away. Oh, they're all dying to the mage staff. Okay, prove.
There are only 4 of them, and he wanted the experience, I guess. Ooh, Frosties.
Yeah, the problem just with a solo character, and particularly a red mage is not very good at running away from fights, so this is going to be very dangerous.
Frost Dragons are runnable, so we can get to these chest checks. Hopefully, there's our second ribbon.
Ooh.
Beyond the trap tile.
That's a big pickup, but it's going to be hard for him to pull this out.
It'll be hard for him to get it out of here, I agree. Especially when you die.
Yeah, Frosty is not known for being particularly nice. They like to eat light warriors.
Well, you know, they're rather cold beings. They like anything warm to warm up a little bit.
All right, so Hangry Canuck, Lord of the Synth, both have had some really rough goes of this early game. A lot of wipes, a lot of dangerous skills and enemies that we've seen. This is where you have to stop and think and compose yourself. It's really easy when you're in a situation like this, particularly in a race setting, to kind of get on tilt, and you have to make sure that you don't let that get in your head. You have to refocus and play your game. So
by the way, something we didn't point out earlier, unrunnable Caribs. That's always a good sign.
Yeah, not something we want to see. That's going to make river travel very annoying.
Yep, especially when there's 8 of them.
So I'll be curious to see how these runners adjust. They really need to change up their strategy and figure out something a little bit different to do. So Canuck's going to head north. We'll see where he goes.
So late, not really late, a question from someone in chat. Is Canuck leaving his Black Mage permadead? It seems that is the case. He is going with a 3-man strategy. Black Mage was forced today. He is going with 2 fighters and the Red Mage to try to get through and get some experience and get them working quickly, but I think he's may use the mage later for certain magic when he gets to the late levels. We'll see.
I can't say I blame him too much leaving the Black Mage dead for now. The Black Mage really doesn't have a whole lot to be able to contribute towards these battles, other than his ability to run away. Spell-wise, we've only seen Zap and Quake that we have access to. Lord of the Synth getting the bad end of some cremates from these Argoyles. Gonna have to reset.
Yeah, he's going to learn, just like Hangry Canuck did, that this is going to be a hard place to get in and out of.
Hazard3 asking about the reason for keeping a character dead and not wanting to spend money on a res. When a character is dead, experience is only shared among living party members. So normally when you get experience points, it gets split 4 ways because you have 4 party members. So if a fight gives you 100 experience points, each of your 4 warriors will get 25. Whenever you have characters that are dead or petrified and can't gain experience points for battle, that gets redistributed. So in a 3-man party, that same 100 EXP fight would give all 3 of your characters 33 experience points instead.
Angry Connect is now taking his opportunity to check some of the key locked locations here. It looks like the castle has an opal gauntlet and a Warple. Warple is potentially good depending on which camp you're in.
Yep, Canuck swapping around some armor. Now that he has the flame armor and flame shield, that's going to protect both of his fighters a little bit more. And we'll see where he decides to go next. He's probably going to head up to these Temple of Fiends chests and find the bad news that they don't have anything particularly good for him right now.
And the Angry Connect is going to do those chests in here now, like you just said. I forget to refuse zombies.
LordoftheSynth still trying to dig his way through the Volcano 2. He's finally making headway on these gargoyles and taking them down. Fortunately for him, he does have a white mage, and that white mage is able to use heal 3 in battle. Oh, and behind the trance, these gargoyles have glance, which petrifies the fighter.
Yeah, that is not a good character to have petrified. Have we seen a lot of soft potions yet?
So there's always going to be soft potions and pure potions available for purchase in Corneria, in order to ensure that you can't get into a situation where you have a bunch of characters petrified and are unable to restore their statuses.
Synth thought about for a while, decided to eventually reset. I think he's going to go see what's in the armory right now, see if that's worth it.
He's continuing to dig, as we see spiders also using stone, poison, and stop on Angry Canuck's party, and Bane. So lots of dangerous skills coming out of these.
And spiders. Dazzle.
Boy, spiders are really... Oh, and ghouls have Blizzard.
This is a good Temple of Fiends.
There's a lot of nastiness. Fortunately, with all that flame armor, that flame shield, and that ribbon, Canuck is able to shrug off some of the damage from that ice spell.
They're actually very fortunate they didn't run into all those disastrous enemies earlier, because some of those stop spells or stop stats that would have made the Garland fight a lot harder to get to and survive.
Alligabrap pointing out in chat, this is so nasty in this early game that Sea and Sky are going to be fun after this. That is likely... That's likely going to be the case, actually. We're not going to see a lot of nastiness, probably. We've seen a lot of the bad.
Yeah, I expect Sea and Sky to be very light by this point, to be honest with you. Of course, there's always a possibility of a war mech. That reminds me, what is the war mech flag for this setup?
The war mech flag in this setup is vanilla.
Okay.
Or maybe it's shuffled encounter. Well, no, the war mech flag itself is vanilla. So war mech will be found on the Bridge of Destiny. I believe also encounter rarity is shuffled, which means that it is possible to see war mech more frequently than just on the rarest encounter rate.
Angry Connect is dealing with the Geists in the Spectres in the sea. Strange that's in the sea. Oh, okay. It looked like the sea was a town, sorry.
That makes sense. That's actually the background that gets used for the pirate fight, and since Melman has replaced Provoca, that's the background that gets tied to that.
That makes sense.
Alright, so Angry Canuck is back on his travels again. We'll see if he decides to continue beating his head into Ice Cave or go somewhere else. Looks like not Ice Cave.
I do not blame him for putting off Ice Cave a little bit longer. But if that's where our progression is, this is going to be a nasty, nasty continuation to get to that point.
Well, I think our runners are going to have to go see what that bottle turns into. At this point, we've seen a lot of nastiness. Someone's going to have to bite that bullet, take the time, take the money, and buy that bottle and see what the fairy gives in Gaia. Elmarkin in chat asking if he's going to sell the katana and hope it's enough. Hangry Canuck has the katana. He's got the Vorpal, and I know he's not a particular fan of the Vorpal sword. So I'm sure he would have no qualms about selling it. But I think at this point, Hangry Canuck probably has enough equipment that he could sell to purchase that bottle.
Question is, would he relent to using the Vorpal for now until he gets to a point where he's more comfortable, then just sell it to use it then? That's the question. If I'm going through a seed with this much nastiness, I'd use something I'm not comfortable using for a little while just to then get rid of it later.
Well, unfortunately, you have to be promoted in order to equip the Vorpal, so that doesn't even necessarily matter in this situation.
Yeah, so he'll probably sell it for the money in this case. And we're far from being promoted. We need a floater before we can worry about that.
Yeah, we do have the tail, so once we find that airship, we can go get promoted. But until we have that airship... Alright, Lord of the Synth has made his way out. He has managed to save his progress. Has saved that power gauntlet, that mage staff, so he is looking a lot happier now.
Now will he go to Ice Cave?
If I'm in Synth's shoes, he's lost a lot of time. Ice Cave is going to take you a lot of time. I would be after that bottle.
That may be what he's doing. He's already on the way out. He has not gone to Ice Cave. So Ice Cave is clearly not on his mind right now. He's right now he's going to the clinic. Going to get his red mage returned to life. By the way, high five. They're both here.
And unfortunately, it looks like neither of our runners has the money right now to be able to buy that bottle. So Canuck did some shopping and bought a bunch of equipment, a lot of healing items and whatnot, a lot of camping gear, but has not bought that bottle. So we'll see where he decides to go next.
I think this is part of the discomfort for this, but because they cannot buy the bottle, I can see Synth going to Ice Cave and seeing what's in there right now. He seems to be heading up in that general direction. Well, maybe not. He's heading... Let's just see which way he goes. They're both heading there, actually. They're both in this exact same area right now.
Oh, now Canuck changed his mind. He's going to head over to Volcano, and Synth is going to go try his hand at Ice Cave. He's going to get the bad news that Ice Cave is not a good time.
No, it's not a place you want to be today. Which accounts for about 90% of seeds generated.
So, Canuck having beat his head against the Ice Cave for a while, I don't blame him for this play of trying to go into the Volcano. I think if I were in either of these runners' shoes, which admittedly I'm not racing right now, it's easy to be the armchair quarterback. Mm-hmm. But I think if I was either of these racers, I think the right move is stop, slow down a little bit, grind some money, get some levels, fight some giants outside of Crescent Lake, get that bottle and see what it turns into.
My Canuck is currently dealing with the collection of enemies, trying to get a chest that he has not checked yet. This chest he has not actually opened yet that he's next to, I believe. Just has a cabin in it. He's out of there. And back in.
Yeah, I admire remembering that he had that one chest and taking the time to go scan it. You definitely don't want to feel like, oh, you know, I skipped something. Maybe it's that one chest. It'll nag at the back of your mind. So definitely good on him for remembering that.
Yep, it has happened before, too. Okay, so he's gotten down to a few floors here.
So it looks like in addition to the glare that the wraiths have, they also have cremate. So more fire damage.
There's a spicy set of enemies, that's for sure.
Elmarkin asking, what do you think about this volcano dive? Cyclone, I'll let you answer first, and I'll give my thoughts.
Given how nasty Ice Cave has already proven to be, and giving Canuck the challenging difficulty he's been dealing with, I actually think I like the Volcano Dive better because there are a few items in the basement. Maybe he's taking a shot at trying to get one of the orbs lit so he can get this off this list, not have to come back later. He's hoping there could be some progression, like one of those 2 loose items in the basement. But of course, Synth may beat his head against the wall in this Ice Cave for a while too. I'm not sure I'm like either strategy. I might be with you on the bottle strategy, but I'm curious what you think about that too.
So I like the idea of the Volcano play. I like trying to dig some of these chests he hasn't seen. This is a little bit easier for him to get to rather than trying to get down into Ice Cave. The only problem I have with this play is we're really lacking a way to try and kill Carry. So if we're this deep in the Volcano, I wouldn't want to personally be coming here without the ability to kill a Fiend. And we do have the Power Gauntlet, so we can do the damage over time to be able to take out Carry, but we don't have any sort of way to actually defend the fighter that's going to be charging up those Saber casts. So if he finds a defense sword, or maybe a wizard staff, or a white shirt, I think this play is really going to pay off. And if he doesn't, I'm curious how he's going to handle I'm curious how he's going to handle trying to get out of the Volcano.
Yeah, this is definitely a gamble to say the least. He's hoping there's a katana right there, actually. So he's definitely gambling, hoping there's something down here to help with that. I like the idea. It's just a question whether it will work for him. There's the crystal. That's one of our required loose items.
Well, it is a loose item. It's not necessarily required. That crystal could lead to something that doesn't actually give us progression, but finding a loose item is huge.
I should say key items, not required items.
It's also important to note that every key item that our runners find is going to get them one step closer to 12 key items. And once our runners have 12 key items, they're going to get a 50% experience points boost on top of the experience that they would normally be gaining. So getting to that 12th key item is going to be really big for our runners.
Okay, here's Carrie's floor. Let's see how Canuck handles this. First, we have to deal with an Agama. Synth is getting further. Oh, sorry if I cut you off. Synth is getting further in the Ice Cave. He has gotten to about a point where Canuck took another death there. So, looks like we might be seeing some more new chests down here now. The item was just some gold in that chest that Canuck opened, by the way.
So it looks like the Agamas aren't too bad, so he's able to get through them. But I'm still very curious what his plan is here. If he's it looks like he's going to try and fight Carrie. We'll see how he does.
He's a braver gun than I am.
You know, if Carrie rolled low on stats and she only has, 300 to 400 HP, maybe he can do this. It is certainly possible, but it's definitely a gamble. We'll see if this pays off or not.
So, Synth is now fighting some Frosties for the last 2 chests in this room, and finds money.
That's a really smart play by Canuck. He moves the ribbon to the fighter that has the Power Gauntlet. He's going to try and use that Power Gauntlet to cast Saber enough times to start swinging for some really good damage. He finally equips that Light Axe. So he's going to try and actually fight this out. We'll see how this goes.
This is very brave.
Big money in Ice Cave.
That was not a lot of damage, it looked like.
No, it's going to take a couple of those Power Gauntlet charges. That Light Axe isn't going to swing for much. Black Shirt only coming in for about 30 damage.
Yeah, I saw 24, 26, and a 30 so far, so this is going to be a long slog, to say the least.
It's about 230 damage in now. Another 184.
Oh.
So he's up over 400, so he's starting to get within kill range. 255 does it!
Wow!
Good job, Canuck, proving me wrong.
You won't have to come back here now.
That is really big for Canuck, especially if that crystal turns into something important.
It means you don't have to take it off the tracker either because he survived. That's good.
Yeah, Lord of the Synth has made good progress in Ice Cave too. Has managed to get all the way down to the eye trap tile. So
That is
well
very
done.
nice. So we're gonna get to see what is in the eye trap tile. I didn't see those last chests along the way because I was watching the carry fight, but let's see what we have here in the eye tile. The ship! Oh, this was needed! Synth is staring at the chest angrily, saying, "You put me through that for a ship?"
Well, that ship could lead to progression elsewhere. For instance, that gives us access to the vanilla Melmond entrance and the vanilla Onrak entrance. If either of those have Provoca and there ends up being a key item there, that could be really big.
Synth took an extra eye fight, is now going to try and get out of this cave alive with his ship.
Takes a glare from the images, but he's still got 2 light warriors. Meanwhile, Canuck has made his way over to Matoya's. We're going to see what that crystal turns into.
The sorcerers didn't do much of anything there, as has been the case for them. Another ribbon on Matoya.
Oh, that is the 3rd ribbon located. So we now know where all 3 ribbons are.
Synth finds some wraiths. Will he get out alive? Close call.
He's really close, just a few steps now. And he's out!
Ah, he made it out with the ship. Angry Canuck does not have that ship yet. So this is a huge advantage for Synth. That's going to get him some more map access that Angry Canuck does not have. Angry Canuck is still limited to this continent.
So where does Canuck go next? He's going to stop off at Corneria and going to revive some of his party members before he decides where to go. But Lord of the Synth is out, so he's going to be able to pick up his ship from the Provoca dock. And we'll see what he decides to do next.
So for those of us joining us a little late here, we are now 1 hour and 10 minutes into this race. We still have no floater. It's still at large. This is the Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament, 2019 Spring Tournament. I am Cyclone, joined by Shadowwalker227, following the action here. And Angry Canuck is back in Corneria right now, while Synth is the first to take to the seas in his lovely ship.
Yeah, this has been an interesting tale between these 2 runners. To give people a little bit of a recap that are coming in, we started off and we found some instant death magic in Corneria Castle. We put that to work to kill Garland. We talked to the Corneria Royals and found the rod in the slab. We headed over to Matoya's cave and we found a black shirt, and that was our first real source of damage in the seed. We headed over to the Provoca entrance where we found the Melman town, and Angry Canuck decided to take a little bit of a detour and grinded some levels on the Melman encounters, and has gotten himself a couple of levels that have been really instrumental in making progress. Lord of the Synth didn't stop off to do a grind, but both of them eventually headed their way over to Marsh Cave. Canuck, with his higher levels, was able to get through a little bit faster. Then eventually both of our runners made their way over to Crescent Lake, which was Crescent Lake. We found Gaia in Elfland along the way. Crescent Lake showed us that the bottle was for sale as the vendor item for about 54k, and the sages handed over the TNT. We both decided to walk back over to the dwarf cave, turned to that TNT, got the adamant, turned in the adamant to the blacksmith and got the crown, and then went to Astos and handed over the crown to get the mystic key. Both of our runners decided to do some mystic key checks, which didn't end up in too many good items, but we found some money along the way.
Just to be briefly, we found Onrak, by the way.
Okay, so Onrak is our town at Melmond. Okay. So after that, we both decided to dive the Volcano, got a couple of great items out of the Volcano Armory, including the Power Gauntlet, a Katana, a Mage Staff. Lord of the Synth and Angry Canuck both went up to Ice Cave. Canuck had a bit harder time, but Synth was able to make it his way through and found the ship in Ice Cave, and Canuck was able to fully dive Volcano and found the crystal at the bottom, as well as carry the Fiend of Fire to light his first orb.
Orb. Oh, sorry. Anyway, I found it very interesting. Synth now has 98,000 gold. He has enough to buy that bottle now, I believe. I don't think he's actually purchased that to try turning that in yet. He's more interested in exploring the new terrain right now before going back and doing that, looks like.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised, but maybe he's feeling a lot better about having killed Carrie and gotten a couple of extra levels. Maybe he feels a lot better about his chances in Ice Cave.
Or he could be making his way around right now, but right now he's going around the area where I believe that Sarda is located, where the Titan's Cave also is located. So he's making his way north from here.
John Reese in chat pointing out that we don't have Warp or Exit yet either. We did actually see Exit. Exit was level 6 in Crescent Lake, and I believe Lord of the Synth with his White Mage might have been able to pick it up. I don't know if he tried, though.
thehangrycanuck has gone back into Ice Cave. Unbeknownst to him, this is the right play right now, but I think he's kind of run out of options. So I think he realized he pretty much has to do this now.
Yeah, meanwhile, Lord of the Synth with his ship is taking a long trip up north, going to sail through the Cardia Isles. It's a beautiful view along the way. And we're going to stop over at Castle Ordeals and see what the Ordeals incentive item is. Oh, you're going a little bit too far north. You need to go back.
He will eventually realize that. What do you think is going to be at Ordeals today? And chat, feel free to get your opinion in here too.
You know, this seed has been just an absolute gem. So I'm going to go with Ruby at Castle Ordeals. So we can go feed the Titan, talk to Sarda, and get the Oxgale. So we can go into Onrak and brave the Sea Shrine to find our floater.
Or maybe it's the cube that will come from Sarda. That'd be an interesting find too, because we can make our way to the northern continent and get out via ship now there. So I have to go to Waterfall Cave with that.
See some calls for Vanilla Tail, Floater, Loot. Syphoid, that's a really in-depth answer. I mean, I'm just going by how this seed has been so far. It's been an absolute gem.
Yeah, it's been one of those legendary ones so far from my view. I mean, the one that I mentioned earlier in the race that the first seed I generated was a rather nasty one. Let me just tell you how nasty, well, how I called this to be nasty. We had the floater in an hour and a half in that seed, and that was bad enough. We're at the hour 15, we have no clue where it is now. So, who knows?
I mean, we're at the hour 15, and only one of our runners has a boat.
Yeah, so. Exactly.
Lord of the Synth takes the wrong pillar and has to go all the way back to the start.
Let's see what the mummies do today.
He's going to actually take this fight. This is smart. He's got some casting items to be able to take out these undead, so I like this play to get a little bit of extra EXP while you're here. Ordeals is a great area to actually get some bonus experience points, especially with both Light Axe and the Mage Staff. Mummy packs we can take out, Zombol packs we can take out, so some nice options. Argos, on the other hand, not so nice.
Yeah, they're a little bit nasty, and I didn't check to see how armed for armor Synth is right now, but the Cremate is not doing that much damage anymore. Now he's leveled up a little bit.
Canuck's making his way through Ice Cave. He's gotten past the trap tile now with the undead.
Synth has decided that that was too much damage from the gargoyles to be comfortable dealing with, so he's going to go and try that again. Find the sorcerers. The sorcerers have not been very dangerous yet in this seed, and they're proving to be just the same now.
So Canuck goes, he remembered that the ribbon was here, so he's now picked up his third ribbon, has all of his three-man party equipped with ribbons, so that's going to be really, really nice as he's diving through these dangerous dungeons.
So Canuck is now going to check out the rooms he has not seen yet. This is the furthest he's gotten in Ice Cave so far.
So still seeing a bit of a level difference between our runners. Lord of the Synth has managed to get a couple levels now on his characters. He's between levels 9 and 12 on his Light Warrior pack. I think Canuck was around 12 or 13 on his 3-man party.
Canuck is dealing with the Wraiths right now, and Majta finishes them off. So going to move down to a room that I think had mostly gold in, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing anything particularly exciting in this room.
I think there was some kind of a shield on top of all the gold. Well, Light Axe gets moved down to Will, who is still out cold. There was a shield down there, and a heal potion.
A decent amount of money, though. Maybe that'll finally incentivize Canuck to go buy that bottle.
We'll see. But at this point, Canuck's going to be getting the ship, and that might be the first thing he thinks about. But at the same time, he might consider the bottle is down here. He's walked by about 10 times already. So, probably doesn't want to have to come back here, may go get that bottle after getting enough money, and then go find his ship.
Yeah, at this point, if I'm Canuck, it was probably 40 to 50 minutes ago that he saw that bottle. I can't imagine that not burning a hole in the back of his mind, wondering, what does that bottle turn into?
He's probably thinking his opponent already has that, too. So, that's another thing you have to think about when you're playing against someone in these seeds, whereas you might normally think, okay, this is the next logical step, but now that I'm thinking this is the next logical step, my opponent may have already done this, so if this is the right path, I've already lost, I might as well try the other step. And sometimes it can lead a runner to not make the correct play when, or take a gamble that he might normally not take because he is in a race situation where he's not sure that he's making the correct play.
Alright, so Canuck has his ship.
Yep, at 1 hour,
Sail
20 minutes, and
Mary
1
seas.
second, Canuck can finally sail. I'm sure he would have been happy with a floater given where he is.
Alright, Synth has made his way through, and he finds the Oxtail!
Didn't you call this? Did you not call this?
Well, I said that there was going to be an in-between step of the Ruby that led to the Oxtail from Sarda, but close enough, I'll take it.
Close enough. You called Oxtail being the next big item, at least.
Alright, so if I'm Lord of the Synth, I'm probably, well, first we're going to grind some zombie Ds. I can get behind this play. These are some nice experience points.
Now the Ruby is so large, I'm going to say that's at Waterfall. We have to come all the way back down to Sarda to get the floater. That sounds sufficiently evil.
Yeah, this is going to be some decent experience points, and I definitely like this play from Lord of the Synth, trying to get some levels. It feels like it's been a long time coming since he had a bit of a rough early game. He's finally going to make up some ground.
Having got the ship first, I say he's a little bit in the lead at this point, because that Oxtail is going to be important to get into one of the dungeons later, the Sea Shrine. So Canuck can't go there yet, obviously. He's going to have to make his way to that Oxtail himself to do that later.
Yeah, I think advantage Lord of the Synth right now. We'll see if Canuck does some different plays and how that plays into it, but it's a really close run right now.
Yeah, if Canuck finds the floater, I say Canuck is back in the advantage. And Synth just randomly talked to the wizard at the front of Castle of Ordeals.
Hey, he's a lonely old man. people need some human interaction, so it's nice to talk to him, give him the time of day, say hi.
And then he vanishes, never to be seen again. So Canuck is... Oh, he might be going to get the bottle.
Well, he's definitely headed the wrong way to get the ship.
He was heading.
so-
He was heading that way, but now he's heading back down. So I think he is going to get the bottle.
I hope he doesn't think that the ship is at Elfland, because he's going to be in for a rude surprise.
Oh no, that might be where he's going. He's heading towards Elfland. I saw him make the left turn earlier.
Yeah, this is unfortunate.
That's exactly what he's doing.
This is going to cost him a little bit of time. He's going to be a bit annoyed at this, but not a whole lot to do about it. Oh, and Synth has found Provoca up at the Onrak entrance.
That's a good thing to find. We have an item there.
Nuke! We have Nuke!
Nuke has been found!
Nuke and Harm 4. So we have some really good damaging options. Harm 4 only good against undead, but that Nuke is 1 to 400 damage of non-elemental damage. That's a really big pickup for our runner.
In other good news, we found a lamp, so Aghanim is now available. Oh, wrong randomizer.
Yeah, unfortunately, Lamp in Final Fantasy 1, not so good. It cures the dark status. And that's it.
I had to go for that joke. I call a lot of that.
Alright, so we are highly overcooking these pirates. 6 damage vanilla, upwards of 12 in these enemy scalings. We're doing a lot more than 12 damage. And we find the herb from Big...
Ooh. That may lead us back to the Elfland castle. Oh no, that's Matoya. Is it Matoya or the Elfland castle?
Matoya normally gives you the herb.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is Elfland castle. That's right. I was right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we've seen the Matoya item already, so.
Yeah, we know today that Matoya has the ribbon, so...
So Hangry has found his ship at 125.
Yep, so Canuck gonna stop by, and he's picking up his fighter, still not picking up that Black Mage. We'll see if he changes his mind once he sees level 2 Nuke. That might be enough for him to decide to pick up that Black Mage finally. LordoftheSynth sitting on a cool 100k gold at this point. And we're going to stop off the waterfall. We're going to see what the robot in the waterfall has for us today.
Other than potentially doing the Dr. Roboto or whatever it's called. We're going to find out when we get over there. Now, these flags don't shuffle the inside of the waterfall cave, do they? They're stay vanilla?
Correct. The waterfall cave is its normal layout. There is an experimental feature in the alpha and beta flag sets that you can turn on that randomizes the layout of the volcano floor. Very fun to play with, but our runners will know the path here.
Excellent. And we have a horde of Perilous. We haven't seen a lot of danger from the Perilous as far as I'm aware so far. Normally in the vanilla game, they're the ones that stone you and end your game very quickly if they wish to. Yeah, Nuke is doing a good number on them.
Can definitely be a bit of a nuisance in vanilla. Synth finally having Nuke, he's got to feel really good finally. We've been lacking a strong way to clear out enemies, and we worked for it, and now we've got it. So, LordoftheSynth definitely in the driver's seat at this point. Looks like Hangry Canuck is turning left. I think he's going to stop by Onrak, and he's also going to locate Nuke. He's about to be very happy.
But I don't think I saw Canuck go back and pick up the bottle, so that's still at large. We still don't know what the bottle transition. We had access to that early, just how to get the money to buy it.
Yeah, at this point, it's still Schrodinger's bottle. Might be useful, it might not, but neither of our runners have checked, so we have no idea.
Can you just imagine if that's what leads to the floater?
Man, I think I called that like an hour ago at this point.
I really want Sarah to have the floater, though. I want Ruby to floater. That's what I want. Come on, give us the Ruby. That's a chime.
We're gonna call that French vanilla. Since normally the robot gives you the cube to progress up to the floating fortress, today it's just giving you access to the Mirage Tower.
And these chests had nothing but money. Every single chest had money, one of them to the tune of 25,000.
So we've now checked Ordeals, we've checked Waterfall. So at this point, we have Earth Cave, which we do have the rod, so we have all of Earth Cave that we can check. We have Oxiel, and we know where Onrak is, so we have all of Sea Shrine that we can check, or the bottle. But one of those three locations, I think, is going to have our floater. Oh, actually, we have the Mystic Key, and neither of our runners checked the marsh locked chests. So we could still see a locked floater in Marsh Cave.
Or it could just be a loose item, unless we already found the second one. One of them was the crystal.
Well, we found the crystal already. We found the crystal in.
I was saying the floater could be a loose item as well, and I was referring to the crystal, which was one of those loose items. It was the first of those two.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, we actually also have the herb. The herb could turn on for the floater.
Yeah, the prince could have something. Yeah. Still a lot of options, but which one will be the one that cashes in? Go ahead and put your guesses in chat, everyone, if you wish. Bit of a high five from the runners right now. Both are in the waterfall cave, but one is going in, the other is going out, so they can high five each other on the way by.
I still want this to be a Ruby required seed. I'm with you. I want Sarda to have something important.
Yeah, Sarda needs to have the floater, without question. So yeah, we're now beyond the floater from my first seed.
Yeah, that can happen sometimes in this flag set. These flags tend to go a bit longer than your average FFR run. You know, a finish of 115 in some previous Swiss flags was kind of average. In this, a finish of 115 is an extremely fast seed. And most runs tend to go closer to 2 hours.
So Hangry Canuck is currently having a nightmare.
Oh, C-Note pointing out that we actually now have access to Mirage Tower, and the floater could be in the less than greater than room.
Oh my. But you know, the Canuck apparently bought Lamp.
No, we're actually a loot and a cube short of being able to beat this seed without the floater.
Wow.
And we still have a couple of incentive checks that we can do at this point.
I didn't think you'd get to the desert without the floater. That's possible?
Yeah, the open progression flag adds a dock south of the Mirage Tower. Way outside the desert. So we could actually see a Mirage Tower check without a floater.
You could have a floater to see, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what happens here.
This might be the first of the tournament. I know a couple runners have done it in a practice seed, but if that ends up being the case, this could be a tournament first.
And right now, Synth is coming upon the Odd Eye and some Sahags. Sahags by themselves are unrunnable, I think. But the Odd Eye makes it so you apparently can run, but not anymore.
Yeah, those count as different encounter groups.
Mm-hmm.
There's something like 3 to 6 Sahags, and then 1 to 2 Odd Eyes plus 1 to 6 Sahags.
Yeah. We're gonna see what the herb turns into. Is this our floater? Well, we're gonna find out once he wakes up. He is waking. And... Cube!
We are now a loot short of this being beatable without the floater.
Whatever it is, Sarda has to have it. Let's just find a ruby
I want to
already.
see some bless RNGs in chat for a floaterless seed.
That actually would be more fun. Let's get the ruby required, get it to Sarda, get the loot, and call it a day. And no one bothers to check the bottle, which would have had the floater the entire time.
Oh, that would just be... that would just be too perfect. You know, you goofballs could have had the floater way, way long ago. But nope.
That would just be perfect. Probably, but again, it's a loose item. For all we know, the floater could be... correct me if I'm wrong, the floater could be in... somewhere in a chest, like that last room in... on
Synth
the...
is going for it! He's
bottle?
finally gonna go check that bottle! Yes, floater can be a loose item. It can be in any random chest.
I was about to say it could be in... I was about to say, like, when we saw that, I was about to say it could be on Timeout's floor in Temple Fiends Revisited 2, could it not?
No, you will never have a key item that is locked away inside a Temple of Fiends chest.
Okay.
The sanity checker ensures that every item is accessible before going into the Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Gotcha. So we have our bottle.
Alright, so time to see if all this time we've cost ourselves nothing but time running around everywhere. Or if this is actually just a dud.
If this is the floater, Synth is going to feel like he's an hour behind.
Yeah, the crazy part is he's actually ahead right now, so...
Yeah.
If he does find the floater from this, he will feel way behind. But little does he know, he's actually in the driver's seat.
HangryCanuck, meanwhile, is going to be getting his Oxio.
But LordoftheSynth is going to stop off and get a couple of gold bracelets and some pro rings, so he's going to be much better equipped to take some hits in the later.
And off to the magic shop to see what's in there again. There's the exit spell he has been so longingly waiting for, now in his inventory. Picks up Fade while he's there as well.
Yeah, these are some really nice pickups for his White Mage. White Mage is going to have a lot more usefulness provided at the party. He does need one more level to have level 6 spells, but that'll come pretty quick.
And XXXX, by the way, was in that level 6 shop as well, second slot. So, unfortunately, at the cost of about $16,000, and not really willing to spend that much more money on that, I don't think.
Aylwood asks, how is Synth ahead? I think he's ahead because of the fact that he was able to get through Ice Cave a lot faster. He was the first to get the boat. He has done a lot of checks that Canuck hasn't done. And the only thing that Canuck has done that LordoftheSynth hasn't is Volcano. And it looks like LordoftheSynth is going to stop off there now and take care of the Volcano while
Yeah, an argument could be made that because HangryCanuck did do the Volcano dive earlier and made it through that really difficult dive, that he is ahead based on that. That could be the argument. But Synth has done so many more checks that this Volcano dive is now going to be elementary for him. There's not really much thought to this, so I'll just pick up a few items, go fight Carrie, and have a nice day. So, HangryCanuck will not be able to make up all the checks that Synth has done in the time that Synth will clear out this Volcano.
And our Hydra is providing even more resistance to fire, casting a fire in battle.
Someone suggesting that I was trying to make a pun there. That was actually not a pun. I just said have a nice day as part of my thing.
We have been having an ice day. That's pretty true. Alright, there's level 16 for Lord of the Synth. He's now going to have some level 6 spell charges for that White Mage. He's going to have Exit now. That's going to feel really good.
So Canuck is now dealing with some gargoyles. There's the falchion for Synth.
Yeah, falchion is a pretty early game sword. It's not going to see much use in the randomizer. Typically our runners don't even take the time to sell it in the shop. It's just not worth enough money. So Lord of the Synth making some really good pace through the Volcano. He's almost down to the bottom floor at this point. Just a few more chests to check here. Now he is going to find his crystal, and he will probably follow that up and find the ribbon out of that.
That's the crystal right here, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe I'm in the wrong area. No, it's a different one.
Yeah, I think it's the next room. The bottom chest in the Agama Trap Tile room.
That's probably the one I was thinking of. Yeah, this is it. He stops, stares at that chest angrily for a while, and then goes in menus.
Alright, so fighting his way through another Agama. Able to make real quick work of the Agama now. He's got decent levels on the fighter, swinging for a good amount of damage. Canuck has made his way through the Ordeal's Pillar Maze, and is shortly going to find his Oxio.
It looks like Demon Frog is trying to set you up with a question there to plug some other features here. Did you want to oblige?
Yeah, sure. So Demon Frog pointing out that normally, yes, the falchion is not a very good weapon. However, in the beta and alpha flags, there is the option to do randomized treasures. So normally in Final Fantasy Randomizer, you shuffle all of the treasures that are found throughout the game, but the amount of each item stays the same. So you'll always find 3 ribbons and a gold bracelet and 2 katanas. However, when you're randomizing the treasures, it follows a very different rule set, and you'll have any number of the normal items that you run across. And what Demon Frog is referring to with the poverty wealth setting is a very low weighting towards finding lower items rather than finding good items.
So we are going to get our carry fight from Synth right now. Synth is just rearming his health for this fight. Should be a little bit more of a trivial fight for him than Canuck, who had one light warrior left when the fight was finished.
Demon Frog pointing out Tavern Mode. Tavern Mode is a feature I really want to see make its way into Alpha. That's a really good one. It lets you hot swap your party members in the middle of a seed. Synth with those nukes making quick work of carry.
Yeah, that was trivial, like I figured. So now they're on a crystal tie. The question, of course, is who is ahead from. Other than that, I would definitely give the edge to Synth at this point. But did we see what the bottle turned into yet? I don't think we saw that yet. We're going to see that right now, I believe.
We haven't seen the bottle turn into something.
Oh.
And Synth has just a very slight lead at this point, it looks like. He has done a couple of incentive checks that Canuck hasn't done. But it looks like Canuck actually got through most of the things that Synth has done. So our runners are kind of neck and neck at this point.
Yeah, he did. That covered a lot more ground than I was giving him credit for there. He's now in our... You would suggest this is a fire dungeon of some sort, but it actually is the sea shrine. It's got a bit of a fiery hue to it today.
Yeah, it's actually a really cool color for the sea shrine to take on. That's the color that comes from the Melman entrance. Our devs with the entrance shuffles gave every different area its own tinting, and including the towns. They had to kind of make some up for the towns, and this is one of the cool ones.
So Synth is checking the items in Gaia once again. Oh, this would be where the bottle would be turned in, but I don't think he has the bottle yet, does he?
You turn the bottle in at Gaia, and Synth...
Yeah, he's at Gaia. He's at Gaia. Oh, Synth does have it, so we're going to see it right now. We are going to see it right now, then. I got confused who had the bottle for a second, so let's see what it is. It is the tail!
Hey, somebody called that. I don't remember who said it, but they did call it. So the bottle was in fact not required. It was not the floater all along.
That was an expensive gamble.
I'm sure once Lord of the Synth does find the floater, he's going to be pretty happy about it. Being able to class change is definitely going to pay off.
I'm sure the loot will be even more joyous for him. Looks like Canuck Reset is going to dive back in. Didn't find anything on the mermaid floor of interest, it looks like. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there is an incentivized item up there, so I'm going to assume it was an item that he doesn't require.
An item incentivized where?
In the mermaid floor, am I wrong?
No, in this flag set, the mermaid floor is not incentivized, so it was just a bunch of loose treasure chests.
Synth obviously wants that ribbon, so he's going to drop something here. Silver Gauntlet goes bye-bye.
So I'm looking at locations that we haven't checked as far as key items. We have Sarda, who remains unchecked. We have the Lethanish people. We have translated the slab, but we know Lefane is going to be blocked either in Gaia or Lefane by the floater. And we have a loose item at large still. So I think either our loose item is the ruby or the floater. And either Sarda or Lefane is going to be... Oh, there's the loose item!
There's the floater right there! That's a loose item! At 1 hour, 45 minutes, and 50 seconds, we have our first floater, ladies and gentlemen.
So Canuck with a huge advantage having dove Sea Shrine. Lord of the Synth needs to go to Onrak to find that.
And he needs to do it, like, now.
So we know now either Sarda has the loot or Sarda has the ruby, and Lefane has to have the other one.
You said the loot and the ruby?
Yes, the loot and the ruby are the only things that we have not found so far.
Yes. I was thinking of myself for a second, but yes, we have the floater now. Yeah, they can get those in either order, so that would make sense. So at this point, Synth will not be able to find that loot.
Lord of the Synth making a play that I like. I like this idea going into Mirage and Sky, it looks like. Unfortunately, it is not going to have the floater that he is looking for.
No, it's not going to be what he needs at all. At this point, he is now in the situation where he's going to be losing time. Because Hangry Canuck will have that floater. He's going to be able to do things a lot faster than Lord of the Synth will.
Yeah, the other nice thing is because it was the second loose item and Canuck has found it, Canuck knows that he no longer needs to dig chests for items.
Correct.
Which means that he can save a lot of time in dungeons.
If he has everything else he needs other than the... Actually, I don't think there's really any other items he really wants to pick up. But once he gets the floater, I think he's going to be good to go.
I mean, Canuck would probably still like an endgame weapon. Finding the Mazmune, I don't know if he sold the Vorpal or not, but I know he found it at one point in time.
He did. He will definitely do the Cardia Islands and class change as well, obviously.
I don't know that he will, actually. Canuck might feel like he's so far behind, he might not think that he has the time to do it. That said, maybe he does, I'm not sure. But in his position, being close to the 2-hour mark already, the heat is on, and you really have to make the decision of whether or not that class change is worth the time investment.
I think that's a decision that is made based on the seed as you're playing it. Some seed, like, he knows what kind of seed this is. He's played it for obviously almost 2 hours. He knows that Synth is going through the same nightmarish scenario here with what he has to do, the same thing. So he doesn't know where Synth has had problems. The question is whether he thinks Synth will have gotten around those problems that he had quicker. He doesn't know what problems Synth ran into himself that Canuck didn't. He doesn't know what route Synth has taken that is different than Canuck's. So it really is a gamble either way. And sometimes you may feel so behind you have to rush it. But at the same time, it might be worth just making that safe play as well. It really does come down to runner's preference.
Absolutely. So we will see what our runners decide to do. Also, Canuck doesn't have the bottle, so he does not have the tail.
Correct.
And I would imagine
he can't class change.
And I would imagine if he gets that cube and that loot before purchasing that bottle and turning it in, he's probably not going to purchase the bottle and turn them.
Maybe we'll see what he decides to do.
So Canuck lights his second orb. He regains the 1 orb advantage. And it looks like even though he picked up Nuke, he did not decide to revive that Black Mage. He's still going with the 3-man strats. At this point, that Black Mage doesn't have hardly any hit points, so probably not worth the time investment bringing him back up and trying to keep him alive. So I can't say I blame him. He's gone this far with 3-man, so might as well carry it all the way.
Yeah, he's probably going to go 3-man the rest of the way.
Alright, Lord of the Synth checking the less than greater than room. Noted by the formation of its chests, giving it its name.
Lots of money in this room.
Yeah, unfortunately it's just money, and at this point money is not great for him.
Well, there's a soft potion and a short sword on the right side, but those aren't really useful items.
So Synth is going to full clear this dungeon. Fortunately for him, Sea Shrine is kind of on the way to checking the Earth Cave, so I imagine he's going to check Sea Shrine before Earth. And,
yeah, probably.
He will probably check and get his floater next. He does pick up his bottle, so he is going to get the tail.
He will probably 100% this cave as well, though, or this dungeon, I should say, because he still doesn't know that floater loose item is in the Sea Shrine, so he's going to be checking everything in here as he goes.
Oh yeah, you have to check every chest in this dungeon. If you did skip a chest and that chest did have the floater or the loot, that is just way too much time lost.
Exactly.
So you have to check everything.
Exactly, and that's what I'm getting at. He doesn't know the loose item is not in here. He is going to check everything because he doesn't know that this is not where it is. We're going to get our Lufine, or I think it's pronounced Lufine, right?
Lefane is the town.
Sorry.
And they have
There's
the
our
ruby,
ruby!
so Sarda does in fact have the loot.
So if we had not gone to the Sea Shrine, this would have probably been Hangry Canuck's quasi-go mode.
Yeah, Canuck has a couple of items left to turn in. He's got to turn in his herb to get the cube. He'll turn in the... Well, he'll talk to the fairy and find the tail, most likely.
Oh, we're getting get our visual confirmation of starter right away, so this will close up all the loose ends here. There it is.
There it is. That is the loot. That is our last item required to beat the game. We now have full knowledge.
I have to thank him for going straight to Sarda with that and closing up that loose end immediately.
It's been a really great race. These runners have passed to the lead back and forth a couple of times. It's been a wonderful show. Definitely give a shout out to our runners. Give them a follow. These guys are putting on a wonderful show for us.
Yeah, this has been a great race to call. I was debating getting in on one tonight, and I chose a great one because this has been one of those back and forth races. One decision really changes the course of the race, changes the swing of everything right away. It's been one of those really beautiful races to watch. So definitely follow both those runners. We'll get those links up in chat for you, and they definitely deserve your support and admiration and whatever else. For those following on YouTube, watching our race on YouTube, by the way, the names are The Hangry Canuck and Lord of the Synth. So not exactly you see them on the screen, they are different.
So Lord of the Synth did pick up a defense sword in Sky Fortress, so definitely a very nice pickup for him. Lets you cast Ruse in the middle of battle. That adds 80 evasion points to the character that is casting the spell. So definitely
There's
a nice
Alphalin, by the way. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. There's Alphalin, by the way. So that opens up 16 more spells for access. We found Life. We found Harm 3 and Cure in this shop.
That Life is in a spot that is night learnable, and I feel like Canuck probably should have turned in the bottle to get the tail before checking Elfland. That would have allowed him to learn Life on all 3 characters, and that would have been a really nice pickup. Temper at level 4.
There's
very nice spell for the end game.
And outside we have some Frosties.
I could go for a Frosty right about now.
Yeah, that sounds tasty, actually.
Alright, Synth doing his spider room check. Got a couple of chests on this floor that are kind of out of the way. This is a floor that people don't like checking, but when you're going through and 100%ing, you have to check everything. Elmarkin asking in chat, speaking of Frosties, do you dip fries in them? And no.
No. I don't have them together.
They're okay. They're okay that way. I've tried it. It's not bad.
I don't like mixing hot and cold foods. There are exceptions, but when it's a fast food menu, no.
Alright, so Canuck checking out the Cardia Isles.
That was a lovely
cloth
cloth
there.
there.
He's looking for at this point.
I think there was still, what did he not pick up yet? He didn't pick up the tail. Maybe he is looking for the class chain.
Well, if he wants the tail, he needs to turn in that bottle. He also still needs to turn in that herb to the elf doctor so he can talk to the prince and get the cube.
Well, you just mentioned the bottle. Look where he just went. Oh, but he's not stopping and picking the bottle up.
Well, our tracker shows that he already has the bottle, so he likely does.
Oh, maybe he does.
Oh,
then.
Massmune and Thorhammer located. So that is a very nice pickup for the Lord of the Synth, and that is a chest that I don't expect Hangry Canuck will check on his rampage through Sky.
That could still have an effect on the outcome of the race, depending on what Hangry Canuck has for his endgame fight. Meanwhile, eyes.
Yep, being able to randomly encounter eyes in the floating fortress is one of the reasons I really like coming here as early as possible. are worth a ton of experience points. We were welcomed here by Zardia and Pizzapotamus, and they're asking for a rundown. And boy, this has been a seed. Canuck does pick up his tail from the ferry.
Yeah, I was just about to point that out, but go ahead and give them a recap since they just arrived.
Yeah, this has been a knockdown, drag-out fight. We found level 1 spells were Quake and Zap, so we had the ability to AoE instant kill some things early on, but we didn't have anything by way of direct damage. We killed Garland, we talked to the Corneria Royals, and we found the Rod and the Slab. We went up to Matoya's Cave, we found the Black Shirt, and that was able to give us some direct damage options. We found Melmond at Provoca, and we were able to translate that slab. We headed over to the March Cave. March Cave had the canoe, and then we headed over and we found Gaia at Elfland. We went to Crescent Lake and we saw Crescent Lake, so we were able to get the TNT from the Sages. We turned in that TNT for the Adamant. The Adamant turned into the Crown, and the Crown turned into the Mystic Key. And we did a whole bunch of checks, and didn't find anything particularly good in the keylock chests. We headed over to the Volcano, where we found the crystal. We headed over to the Ice Cave, where we found the ship. We turned in the crystal to Matoya for the ribbon. Ship opened up a lot of areas. Melman turned out to be Onrak. And then we went north and we found at Ordeals, we had the Oxiel. And then we checked the Onrak continent, where we found Provoca in the Onrak town. The pirates handed over the herb, and we found Nuke at level 2. We went up to the waterfall, where we found the chime from the robot that was lonely in the waterfall, but not much else. We headed back south, and Canuck found the floater in Sea Shrine. Synth went over and bought the vendor item from Crescent Lake, which was the bottle. We turned in the bottle for the tail. And once we finally found the floater, we were able to talk to Sarda and get the loot, and the Lethanish people handed over the ruby.
One correction I will note, I think Provoca was actually where Luffy normally is, on that lonely area there. I think that was one thing I noticed.
We found Provoca right before going into Waterfall. That was the Onrak entrance. Lefane was in the Gaia entrance, and Elfland was the town that is normally at Lefane. Or Elfland is the town that was normally.
That. Okay, I might have seen that then.
But yeah, it's been a knockdown, drag-out race. Our runners have passed the lead back and forth. Synth having a bit of a rough time in the early game. Canuck took some extra levels in Zozo Melmond and had a bit of an easier time, but Synth was actually the first one through Ice Cave with the ship. So they've passed the lead back and forth a couple of times, but Canuck has found the floater while Synth is not.
During all that, Synth has been climbing, and we are in Warmech territory, so get your Bless RNGs in chat if you want to see a Warmech today. Angry Canuck is meanwhile fighting the Blue Dragon.
I'm still sad we were just a loot short of having a floaterless seed.
So close. And we did not get a Warmech, at least not on that run. So Angry Canuck will continue his climb. He may climb a lot quicker. He probably will not open all the chests up here. In fact, I don't think I've seen him open very many so far. So he's just going straight up.
And we have a Tiamat pull. We're going to open up with swinging the Mazmune. We've got a Bane Sword, and we got some nukes.
Nukes.
Bane Sword is ineffective. 290, a really good nuke roll. And 330, and Tiamat's down already.
Wow, that was not a lot of HP on Tiamat.
That was an extremely quick kill from Synth.
Yeah, he was definitely rolled less today. No, T-Matt did not eat his Wheaties this morning, that's for sure.
Alright, so we do suspect that Lord of the Synth will now be on his way to the Sea Shrine, where he will find the floater. Floater was on the way to Kraken, so if Lord of the Synth decides to go left instead of going and diving the mermaids, he will find the floater very quickly. It's in the 2 greed chests in the long hallway on the way. So definitely Synth could make up the time that Canuck has kind of closed between them with his airship.
I can confirm the Hangry Canuck did pass the Masamune, so he does have the Vorpal on Massa right now. So he does at least have one in-game sword, but he did pass up the Masamune that was on the previous floor. I don't recall seeing him open that.
I'm sure that makes Canuck quite sad. He is not a fan of the Vorpal. He's probably grumbling that he has to resort to using it.
Yeah, if you're not a fan of the sword, you have to use something different. You feel kind of dirty afterwards.
Alright, so Canuck making great time in Mirage. Is just about to Tiamat now. He's just got a long hallway to go.
And get your Blessed RNGs in chat again if you want to see a Warmack. Oh, Massa falls.
Oh, the
Glare takes out Moon. And Lit 2 on Will. This is getting dangerous. Blizzard, 34 damage. Lit 2, 24. Tries to run again. Doesn't get hit with slow. Blizzard takes another 26. Finally gets away.
Fortunately, that life spell picking those light warriors right back up. And he has plenty of heal potions to heal his knights back up to full.
At this point, would you use the life spells to make XXX absorb a hit somewhere?
I personally would have brought that Black Mage up a long time ago when we saw Nuke at level 2. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Canuck has different plans. He's trying to hit higher levels with his other 3 characters. Does have level 20 on his character, so definitely not bad. Alligator Brap asking, are those 3 and 256s? I believe Glare is time elemental, so he might have just gotten double glared through ribbons.
Yeah, that's kind of strange. No Warmack yet. We have a Sorcerer, which is not very dangerous. 2 Mudgulls. No one's able to run, so that's a little more damage to Massa. Not a lot, though. You should survive this. There's your close call. Hi, Tiamat.
Lord of the Synth diving into Sea Shrine. If he goes left, this is going to be a really close race. And he's going left!
Ooh.
We still have a close race on our hands.
And this should be...
Pulls.
Hangry Canuck will still take a slight lead here with the 3rd orb ahead of Synth, even with the floater grab. Once he does get that floater, though, that's going to send him right to the basement.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, that Hangry Canuck is spending a lot of time buffing here, and Lord of the Synth was able to just one-round this fight by just throwing out nukes. So, I understand the play for caution, but sometimes you gotta test the waters. 2 hits for 2 damage. That doesn't feel good.
Yeah, that's not good at all, and Will is down. I wonder if using a... Actually... Oh, Will is the one who has the life spell, I think.
Yeah,
or is it...
his red wizard is the one that has the ability to revive his party members. His knights actually do not have the life spell.
Terminated!
Does get some critical hits from the Masamune. 3 hits for 500 damage. That does the job.
And he goes back in. What is he looking for here?
I think he's just going to check these first couple of chests in this first room. Maybe he gets lucky and finds the Masamune. He will find the dragon armor, so he'll be happy about that.
There's a sun sword. There's 7 gold.
Lord of the Synth making his way through Sea Shrine, gets an unrunnable pack of Wiz-Sahags and Arsahags. Bainsword's going to do its work and take down a bunch of these Arsahags.
4 out of 5, 4 out of 9 isn't bad. Thorhammer takes care of most of the rest. And pull out the sword for the last one. Problem solved.
Here we go. This is the chest right here. Lord of the Synth has his floater.
2 hours, 8 minutes, and 15 seconds. 2:08:15. He has his floater.
Lord of the Synth is completely done opening chests. He is not interested in anything they're selling. He's going to make his way through and go kill a squid, and then go pick up his airship. And if he talks to Sarda, he'll save a little bit of time over going all the way up to the Lefinish people.
Is it more of an octopus than a squid?
Squid, octopus, I'm not really sure. Either way, it's big, it's nasty, it's got a lot of tentacles, and it's going to hurt.
Yeah. Very dangerous octopus or squid.
Yeah, John Reese in chat pointing out we have a stun touch seafood platter. That's not pleasant. Stun touch lobsters are not what you want to see, especially as we're diving through Topher here in a bit. That could come back and bite us.
They are rampant on that floor, that is for sure. Angrycanuck fails to stick the landing outside Earth Cave, but he is going to go in now. This will be our first look at Earth Cave. We're not going to get to see many of the chests in Earth Cave, though.
Yeah, Angrycanuck is just going to blaze through this dungeon. He is not interested in anything here. None of the enemies are worth experience points. He has no interest in any of these chests. He might stop and check off a couple of the greed chests right along the way, but other than that, just going to go right.
Synth using his vein sword on the lobsters here. Lobsters are unrunnable, by the way.
Yeah, Lord of the Synth having a much nastier time coming through sea. Got a worse part of the encounter table.
Oh,
has
more
so
lobsters.
Many of these unrunnable lobsters.
I mean, yeah, lobster is good for there, but you don't eat this much.
Yeah, you eat that much lobster and you're gonna get sick.
Yeah, especially this kind of lobster.
Alright, so Canuck on to the 3rd floor of Earth Cave. He's making great time coming through here.
Took a heavy hit there. But the lobsters go down, and he's going to have to heal up for the squid fight, or the octopus fight, whatever you want to call it. Goes one step too far, ends up in another batch of lobster, but this one has a sea troll, so he's able to run away.
Alright, so Lord of the Synth so far has made really short work of all of the fiends that he's come across, so we'll see if this goes the same way for him.
Release the Kraken!
Just gonna throw out a couple of nukes. Gonna go with the Bane Sword again. For 151 is not a whole lot of damage. Bane Sword comes out ineffective. Second nuke lets loose, 250, we're up to 400 damage. 3 hits, 554 damage, so 450 damage now.
While you were pointing that out, we just got the one viewing of the vampire we're going to see, and Kraken goes down.
But what, where?
The one viewing of the vampire that we're going to see, you know, that thing we never see.
Nah, it must have been in your imagination. There's no vampires in Earth. Alright, Lord of the Synth did get the poison smoke on Kraken. So So points to him for the instant kill. Unfortunately, points don't buy you time, so he's got to go get his airship, and he's going to be hot on Hangry Canuck's tail. Hopefully he goes straight to Sarda and finds the loot right away rather than going up to Gaia and finding the ruby.
You use the ocean drop-off instead of walking from the dock. And this will get him quicker access to the floater, and there we go, 2:13:05, we have an airship.
Alright, so he is headed north. And where exactly is he headed?
Meanwhile, Hangry Canuck is now on his final fiend fight. Just going right in blazing on this one, 171.67, some ink comes in, doesn't do anything. Nuke. 350. And another nuke comes in for 378. That pretty much vaporizes Licht, who is now the 4th fiend down for Hangry Canuck. Hangry Canuck is on the way to Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Alright, Lord of the Synth finally figured out where he was going, decided to go to Bahamut's Cave and get his class change. So Canuck is going to go around, do some final shopping, and prep to enter the Temple of Fiends Revisited. Going to do our final dive. Meanwhile, Lord of the Synth is finally able to fly, get his promotion. So he's looking pretty happy now.
I think he's a lot happier than he was half an hour ago.
If I'm either of these runners at this point, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes into the seed. I am panicking that my opponent is going to dot done any minute now.
Yeah, they are both definitely watching for that dot done right now. No question about it. Probably the chat airship is just there for the victory lap.
Lord of the Synth going for that full 100% completion on key items. Going to pick up his ruby before going to Sarda.
But unfortunately, the Titan is going to go hungry today because he's not going to want to waste time stopping in that cave today.
Does look like Lord of the Synth is going to take the time to go to Lefane, which we know is going to be Elfland. He's going to be able to pick up life on a couple of his characters, so that'll be nice for him. Unfortunately, these are precious minutes that he's losing in this journey over here to get it. As as Hangry Canuck is entering Temple of Fiends Revisited at 2 hours, 15 minutes, and 35 seconds.
You are now 2,000 years in the past. Go kill monsters.
Here there be monsters.
Arr.
Alright, so Hangry Canuck in the driver's seat. Oh, the Phantom is unrunnable.
That's a great thing to see. But Nuke takes care of it.
Yeah, got a great damage roll on his Nuke. I'm gonna check these validation chests right before the loot plate. Not what he wants to find.
Nothing useful there. And now some Frosties.
Elmarkin pointing out that the Iron Staff is ironic. Couldn't you just use that to pry up the plate? Yeah, at this point, Hangry Canuck is definitely in the driver's seat. He's the first into Topher. He's got a bit of a lead, but I think Lord of the Synth is perhaps just a little bit more prepared. If this is a nasty Topher and it causes Hangry Canuck a wipe, I think our runners are going to be neck and necky.
All it takes right now is one wipe. Synth just has to get through Earth Cave as quickly as he can. Get in here before Canuck takes a wipe, assuming that Canuck does take a wipe, and he's back in the lead.
Oh, and Lord of the Synth has remembered that Fast is promotion locked. So he's going to check his level 5 spells, pick up a couple of life 2s for his characters, as well as not Fast.
He didn't
Maybe
pick
he
up
hasn't
Fast.
remembered that.
He forgot
Maybe
about
he hasn't
Fast. It was in
remembered
the black magic shop.
Yeah, it was. Making a liar out of me. I thought he was going back for Fast.
He literally did just make a liar out of you right there. Question, did we see what Warmack has? We did not see a Warmack.
sadly, the robot chicken did not make an appearance today. And I think Synth still has not talked to Sarda. He still needs to go get his key item. Well, it doesn't make much of a difference if he does it now or after this dungeon.
Yeah, Sarda is nearby. He will get it. Now I'll see him make a liar out of me.
And these Sun-Charged Gargoyles gave us a bit of a nuisance early in the seed, and they're back to cause more pain later.
And thehangrycanuck is now dealing with Lick, who is now taking another nuke to the gut. This is a hardy Lich, that's for sure, but Lich finally goes down.
Yep, just takes a good couple of whacks with the sword, and down he goes.
Yeah, 4 nuke spells. He took a lot of nuke today. So Carrie is now our next challenger.
Yeah, not before these unrunnable Agmas have their way.
Yeah, the Agmas, you know, they have to get their time. They haven't had enough time this race.
So LordoftheSynth trying to catch up, trying to make his way through Earth Cave. thehangrycanuck prepping for this carry fight, topping off all of his light warriors. Here we go.
So, first thing done, Power Gauntlet is accessed. Looks like we're going to go into, not fast, we're going to go to Temper. Nope, backs out. Might have been a Quake, but we're going to get a Lightning 3 from Carry. We do get an attack for 123 damage. Nuke for 250 damage. Power Gauntlet didn't do much, it looks like.
There's 404 hits.
520! That is a kill.
Good damage. LordoftheSynth is running over a speed bump here into the Earth Cave. And down it goes.
Please insert.
Chuck on a great run through this water floor.
Please insert nuke to pass.
Finds a very juicy encounter, but he doesn't have time for that. He has got to go try and win this race.
Yeah, he probably feels like he's a mile behind right now. He's probably wondering why there's no winner yet.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm either of these runners, 2 hours and 20 minutes into a seed, I have to feel like I'm behind. Canuck might imagine that LordoftheSynth has been in here and has been wiping or trying to grind some levels or something and is trying to just press forward anyway.
We still don't know what's going to be on Chaos either. Chaos could be like Cure 4, Nuke, who knows what it could happen.
Yeah, we didn't see Warmech, and we haven't really seen a whole lot of the skill or spell list out of these fiends. Kraken, 5 hits for 300 damage, just punching right away.
There's another hit for 149. Temper. Power Gauntlet is being brought back out again. Thinking about Quake, pulls out a nuke. That's 151. There's 291 slaying Noon. Power Gauntlet is put to use. Nuke takes another 236 out of the Kraken. That is another. Is that 22 damage?
That was
There's a
22
685
damage
for a kill. 685 for a kill. Lich apparently had the Cure 4. That's why he was so hardy today.
Ah, thank you, Semi-Stable. I did not catch that.
I missed it too.
And Unforgiven Rage. Alright, LordoftheSynth getting his loot. The last of his required items to beat this seed.
And he is now effectively in go mode.
It's not effectively, he is in go mode. He has his 4 orbs, he has every key item in the game.
Exactly.
That's absolutely go mode if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, it is 100%. Time at taking some damage. There's a 121 we just saw there. So there's 288. That's for another 79. That was a critical hit apparently. 462. Mune is a punching bag. Massa is one man moding it right now with 27 damage. That is a kill. That is a wipe. We have a tie.
We have a race, ladies and gentlemen, and I think Lord of the Synth's party is a little bit more prepared for this Topher. He has more life casters, and he has more offense between those nukes and the Mazmune, so definitely this is a very close race at this point.
Oh my.
You missed it. What happened? Tiamat 2 was punching for 400 damage on Knights. That's what was happening.
Yeah, that he just erased those Knights in a hurry.
Yeah, that is a huge amount of damage coming out. If you're talking 400 damage on a Knight, that's more like 600 damage on a character that isn't a Knight. So,
I wonder if he's wishing. I wonder if he's wishing he brought the Black Mage back now.
I mean, at this point, it's too late. Maybe he does, but you can't really do anything. You could maybe soak a hit with it, but that's it.
Yeah, you're right. It's too late now, but you have to wonder if maybe he's thinking he should have.
So it looks like Canuck is adjusting a little bit. He first time through, he nuked the Phantom. This time, he just swung his swords at it. Synth is about a floor behind right now, but he's making up this time.
And like you said, Synth is probably better prepared for this. So we'll see if Tiamat manages to take him out just as easily. This could still go either way. We could have another couple dips coming up here for all we know.
So one thing that Lord of the Synth has going for him that Hangry Canuck did not is Lord of the Synth found the defense sword, and with a strong punching Tiamat, that defense sword can make a huge difference in raising the Knights of Aid and being able to survive this fight.
Don't leave out the Mazmune as well, which Hangry Canuck does not have. He's using Vorpal.
Yes, that's true. That is definitely an advantage for Hangry Canuck. Although Lord of the Synth didn't pick up fast, so Canuck also does have fast over Lord of the Synth. So both of these runners have a couple of things going for them and a couple of things that are not going for them. So it'll be really interesting to see how this plays out.
And there's a worm, which Synth runs away from. So Hangry Canuck is now working through the earth floor. Synth is, again, still just one floor behind. He's working his way down to there right now. Runs away for some frosties. Nothing here. Don't know what he's clicking on, but Knack's little button push, I guess.
We have a high five from our runners, both of them taking some Garmadusa fights here. Lord of the Synth making up a lot of ground. He's catching up to Hangry Canuck.
Synth runs away. Canuck is taking the fight for some experience, so Synth is just taking the foot lead.
Lord of the Synth has a great run through the earth floor. Unfortunately, that's not really the floor you want to have a great run on. You really want it in, say, the water floor. But
he had he had all the lobster experiences earlier, so you might have that again with the unrunnable.
Not before we find an unrunnable 4-pack of Agamas. I do like this adjustment from Hangry Canuck. He dove the first time and saw that it was a very dangerous fight. He's taking some high EXP fights that aren't too resource heavy to take. So he's going to be a little bit higher level diving down now this time.
But that's going to give Synth the edge he needs to possibly pull ahead and get to Chaos first. But of course, we don't know what Chaos is going to do yet, so that still could be a factor.
Yeah, we do know that Cure 4 is off the table. Looks like our Giant being with these Agamas makes the fight runnable, so Lord of the Synth catches a little bit of a break there.
There are some unrunnables, though. Sword does nothing to him. 470 hit for takes out one Agma. Black Shirt doesn't take out the other, but neither does that. And there's the kill.
Alright, Lord of the Synth just about to carry, but not before another Agma fight.
Oh, the Agamas are just sailing both of our runners right now.
Yeah, they're very disappointed. They wanted to win the last mascot vote that we had in the league, so they're trying to get vengeance on our poor runners today.
They might be a little upset that we haven't asked for Agama facts lately.
Yeah, and the flags these days, we don't spend a lot of time grinding on Agmas. Still see it every now and then, but definitely not the norm like it used to be.
Not normally, no.
Oh, Carrie showing nuclear first turn.
Ooh, we know Chaos doesn't have that now.
Well, there's 4 nuclears in the pool, so Chaos still could.
Oh, my mistake.
Lord of the Synth, with all of his magic casters, just unloading offense in. Also sees the first turn nuclear.
There's your nuclear, yeah. Now Canuck has just taken the lead again. Carrie is down for Canuck. Synth, they're sitting on the same tile doing their work right now, so Canuck is first to go down to the water floor. Let's see how many lobsters we run into on this floor, whether they're in runnable packs or not, with other enemies. Oh, that's a great run for Canuck.
I think Hangry Canuck is on the same encounter cycle, which tells me he probably did a hard reset before going into Topher.
He did. I saw him do that.
I think that's a big difference for these runners.
He definitely did do a hard reset. I did see that. I may have been deceived, of course, but that's what it looked like to me. Synth having a decent run as well, finding the waters which normally are unrunnable, but in this one they are runnable. Synth is first to, it looks like, to get to the Kraken, unless Canuck got to that square and I didn't notice yet.
We have
Sync Kraken!
Pulls.
Absolutely Sync starting the Kraken fight. I can't figure out who I should watch here. Canuck is, okay, here's where the action is right now. Synth taking the Lightning 2. Temper is activated. Nuke is being done by Canuck. Power Gauntlet used with Invis 2 by Synth. I see a Lightning 2 from Kraken on Canuck as well. Temper is still being used on Synth's side, so it's going to be a heavy swing tonight momentarily. We have Nuke. We have a small hit. We have a rather nice beefy hit that takes out Kraken on Canuck. Canuck finishes the fight first. He's going to heal himself up. Synth not far behind. And we're off to the hard-hitting Tiamat.
That's insane. Almost synchronous Kraken fights. They pulled it at the same time. Synth finished just a little bit ahead. And now these guys are going to be healing up before Tiamat for another simultaneous pull.
And Synth gets into that fight first. He doesn't know this is a hard-hitting Tiamat, though. He could lose his knight very quickly, for all we know.
Yeah, he is going to throw out an Invis 2. Hopefully he's going to get some evasion stacks in here.
There's some temper going on here, so we're going to see what happens here. And there goes
6 hits for 540 damage on that knight.
This Black Sorcerer down.
Insane.
Yeah, that made Synth pause for thought for a moment there. He was wondering what's going to happen next now. Hangry Canuck is 2 warriors down, 3 warriors down. He's just got a one-man show right now with the Knight. And this could be another wipe. Critical hit, that's a wipe.
Huge damage coming out of LOTS on Lord of the Synth side. Swung for 900 damage against Tiamat on the last swing.
Synth manages the fight. Synth survived the fight. He's off to Chaos. This could be the race right here.
But he didn't heal up before trying to move on. You have to be mindful that you can still get encounters before you get to Chaos's floor. Does get away, and he's on to the final floor. This could be it, folks. If Lord of the Synth can take this fight, he will win this race. It's been a knockdown, drag-out fight.
This has been a beautiful back-and-forth race, needless to say, but Chaos may have the final word, and it may be up to Chaos whether this seed goes a little bit longer. If Chaos does a number on Synth, Canuck could still come back and get that Tiamat fight and get Chaos to win. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Synth versus Chaos round, well, first try anyway. Invis 2 looks like it's going to be used. Temper's going to be used, obviously, on the Knight. Knight's at the bottom to protect him. Power Gauntlet is used. Lightning 2 comes out of Chaos. Nothing doing for that, very low damage, as it should be. Invis 2 does its work. Temper does more work for the Knight. More Invis 2. So round 2. He pulls out more Invis 2. More Temper. And it looks like the Power Gauntlet. So it's just another setup round. We're going to get another shot out of Chaos here. What is Chaos going to choose to do?
Yeah, this is good. He's got great turn order. He's got 4 evade stacks now. Almost max evade on these
174. 174 to Alex. 174 to Alex. That's the
White
nuke.
Mage has the healing magic, so we want to keep her alive.
Fire 2 from Chaos. This is a bad pool for Chaos. So the nuke does its damage. Fade does some damage. That's a nice 456 hit from I think that was the knight that did that. There is a fade being used again. We're going to get some ice. No, not ice 3, some nuke. Another fade for 154, light 2. Again, weak damage from Chaos. This is not going to help very much for him. A 144 for that nuke. Another nuke for 159. A nice man shot for 499 on Chaos. And that is the race, ladies and gentlemen. As we can now confirm that Synth has finished the race with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 33 minutes, and 44 seconds. And I can now confirm that I can now confirm that the Hangry Canuck is forfeiting the race at this point. He's not going to give us another shot.
Yeah, he has no interest in continuing on. I can't say that I blame him. That was a very brutal seed. GG to Lord of the Synth. GG to Hangry Canuck. That was a very close race. Unfortunately, we don't have time tonight for interviews. But well done by both of these racers. Definitely show them some support. Drop them a follow. They have provided a wonderful show tonight.
Yeah, definitely follow both those runners. Again, for those watching on YouTube, it's The Hangry Canuck and Lord of the Synth are the names you want to follow. Of course, make sure you follow our trackers. I'll get their names in the chat as well. There we go. So follow our trackers who are ailmarkin_, who I think said was doing his first race tonight, if I'm not mistaken. And Alliger Brap, who was helping out behind the scenes as well today. Make sure you also follow my very capable co-commentator, Shadowwalker227, himself a runner of this game, who is in this tournament.
Thank you very much, Cyclone. And thank you to Speed Gaming. I know this seed ran a little long. Sorry that it took a while, but sometimes that's how the randomizer goes. Thank you for the wonderful platform to be able to broadcast this race. GG.
Yes, GG to both runners, and thank you again, everyone, for watching. You're just as important as everyone else here. Make sure you follow Speed Gaming, SpeedGaming236. However, as for what's coming up here, I'm just going to get a quick glimpse here. Stay tuned here for some new Super Mario Brothers Wii action coming up here. The race coming up is between Glowy Orange and Josh TGR. In the meantime, I'm Cyclone, or Cyclone GU on Twitch. Have yourself a wonderful evening, everyone. Stay tuned for the Mario. Good night.